Alright, so this video I will go through the Selangor trial. This is a mathematics trial paper, right? And it's a Kertas dual for Selangor trial 2023. I already did the paper 1, so now I'm doing the paper 2 lah. So I will go through with you the working for this paper today. Okay, let's start with number 1. All right, let's read the question first. Diagram 1 shows the graph of quadratic function fx equals to x squared minus x minus 6. So we can see this is a parabola shaped curve and it's a U shape, right? So now it says based on the graph of quadratic function in diagram 1, A, state the equation of axis of symmetry. Okay, the axis of symmetry is this line here in the middle, all right? And it will cut this curve cut this in half, right? So I need to know the x coordinate of this point in order to find the equation of this line. So how we do that is we can go to our equation, and what we do is we find x-intercept, right? Actually, there's two methods, right? There's a few methods that you can use, right? The one of the method is you find out the x-intercept, right? After you find out the x-intercept, which is a and b, you take the a and b, you plus them together and divide 2. Because you are trying to find the midpoint of AB, right? Okay, and then you will know what is the x coordinate here. Another method is you use this formula, negative b over 2a, right? Which also works. If you use this formula, you can straight away get the x coordinate also, right? Okay, I'm just gonna find the y-intercept lah, all right? I mean the x-intercept, sorry. So how can I find the x-intercept AB? I will just substitute the y equals 0, right? Because that's how we find x-intercept. Whenever we find x-intercept, we just substitute y equals 0. So it will become x squared minus x the whole thing minus 6, the whole thing equals 0. And now I can find the x-intercept. So we can use calculator to press. Let's press. Okay, the A is 1, the B is -1, the C is -6. All right, my calculator give me 3 and -2. Okay, so let's write down the answer here. And of course, up here you have to write something. If x is +3, up here you have to write -3. If down here is -2, here you have to write +2 equals 0, right? So now you know 3 and -2 is the x-intercept of the curve. It means A is definitely -2, B is definitely 3. Now to get the middle, what you will do is you will take -2 and 3 plus them together and then divide 2 because you're trying to find the middle. So you will get x equals 1 over 2, right? So now you know the x coordinate in the middle here is 1 over 2, right? Of course, you can use another method, which is this formula can also, you will get the same answer, right? Okay, let's go to our B. So A, they only ask for equation of axis of symmetry. So this is the answer. The equation of axis of symmetry is x equals 1 over 2. For B, they want you to determine the minimum or maximum point. Okay, it's minimum, right? It's definitely minimum because the shape of the curve is like a U shape. So definitely it's a minimum point. Okay, we already know the x coordinate of the minimum point, but we don't know the y coordinate. Okay, it's very easy to find the y coordinate. We just have to substitute the x coordinate inside the equation. Then I can get the y coordinate, right? So what we do now is I will substitute this x, this x, this x, all this x, I will substitute 1 over 2, 1 over 2, 1 over 2. And after we press all this, we will get -25 over 4, and that's the y coordinate. But of course, you have to write minimum point lah, because this is a minimum point. So let's write down minimum point, the coordinate, let's write it down, which is 1 over 2, -25 over 4. Okay, so this is how you get full marks for this question. All right, hope you understand. Let's continue with question 2. Okay, state the converse of the following statement. So they want me to write converse, hence determine the converse is true or false. First of all, if you look at this, they give you an implication, right? If 8 minus 2a smaller than 18, then 2a smaller than 6. Okay, we will underline this and underline this. Whatever in front here, I will call this the P. I'll label it P. This one is the Q, right? And we need to know that there is a name for this. There is a name for the P. What do we call it? We call it the antecedent. And there is also a name for the Q. We call it the consequent, right? So you need to know that also. Okay, how to find the converse? The converse is you have to take your antecedent and your consequent and use and switch place, right? So what happens is it will become if Q then P. So what you have to write now is if 2a smaller than 6, then 8 minus 2a smaller than 18, right? This is the answer for converse, right? But then it says hence determine the converse is true or false. So I will say here, I have to determine whether it's true or false. So let's think about this. if 2a is smaller than 6, then 8 minus 2a is smaller than 18. All right, let's think about this. If 2a is smaller than 6, it means a is definitely lesser than 3, right? Because 6 divided 2 is 3. Okay. And then what about the other one? 8 minus 2a smaller than 18. We can try to find a here. Negative 2a smaller than plus 8 become minus 8, which is 10. 18 minus 8 is 10. And then a will be 10 divided negative 2, which is negative 5. But since you are since you are dividing by a negative value, you have to change the sign from smaller to bigger, right? So you end up with a bigger negative 5 as your solution. And this is the solution for the first one. So if a is lesser than 3, then a is bigger than negative 5. Well, is this true or false? Mm, to be honest, there's no way to determine true or false, because when I first do this question also, I'm quite confused with this, because how can you know whether this is true or false? If a number is smaller than 3, then the number is bigger than negative 5. Well, it's not necessary, right? Because if a number is smaller than 3, it can be 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, right? So dia tak semestinya kena bigger than negative 5, right? And the problem with this question is this is not even a statement, right? When we break down the PQ, when we just look at the P only, when we just look at this P only, it's not even a statement. 8 minus 2a smaller than 80 is not even a statement. So you can't even determine the true value for this thing, right? Like if I give you something like that, this is not a statement, right? Same with this. If I just tell you a bigger than negative 5, this is not a statement. It's not a sentence where we can determine the true false, right? If I give you something like that, then of course you can then yeah, it's a statement, yeah, because you can determine true or false, right? But if it's just a bigger than negative 5, a smaller, it's not even a statement. So I'm not sure whether I should write true or false here, but I know the schema says true, right? But to be honest, I really don't know whether it's true or false, because I don't think you can determine the true value for this and this, right? Because it's not even a statement, right? If you just look at it separately, if you just look at this separately, you don't even know whether it's a true or false, right? Because it's not a statement. Same with whatever at the back here. So I'm just gonna leave it here and not write the true or false, right? But I want you to know that the schema says true lah, okay? But to be honest, I'm just gonna stick with my I'm just gonna leave it empty lah. Okay, because I don't think you can determine the true false, right? But if some of you know how to determine the true false, you can tell me in the comment lah. But I'm really not sure how I should determine the true value for this thing. So I'm just gonna leave it here and continue with B. All right. Okay, for B, they want you to determine whether the given arguments are strong or weak, cogent or not cogent. Justify your answer. Okay, this question, it comes out in Kelantan paper, right? It comes out in Kelantan trial also. So let's talk about this. Usually students always confused about this thing, right? Like how to determine whether it's strong, weak, cogent, not cogent, valid, not valid, sound, not sound, all these things. So I will give you my notes, all right? So first thing first is let's talk about deductive argument. Deductive argument is where they will give you uh where they will give you, in the premise one they will give you a general statement, and then premise two conclusion they will give you specific statement, right? But for inductive, it will terbalik one. For inductive, they will give you specific statement, and then the conclusion, they will give you a general conclusion, right? So let's talk about deductive first. Deductive, when they give you a deductive argument, there is three format that you have to remember, right? Type 1, type 2, type 3, right? Okay, but let's not talk about the format. Let's just talk about how to determine whether it's valid or not valid, right? So the deductive argument can be valid, it can also be not valid, right? Not valid. Okay. So how to determine it's valid and not valid? We see whether it follows the format or not, right? So I'm just gonna show you the Kelantan question, okay, because it asks like that also. Let me show you. Okay, this is the Kelantan paper. I made a video on this paper as well. So it's question number, let me find it. Yeah, this one, question number 5, right? So as you can see here, all right. So you see, determine whether the given arguments are strong or weak, cogent or not cogent. Justify your answer, right? So this one also they give you inductive lah, right? And you can see all my notes written here, right? So okay, let's go back there and finish my notes here. So if deductive, they'll ask you valid or not valid, right? So how to know whether it's valid or not valid? Okay, if it's valid, it means it has to follow the format. All right. So I will just write here follow. okay, how do I say it? Format. I'll just write format lah, or maybe I'll just say follow. Okay, follow the format. Okay, and there's 3 format you have to memorize, by the way, right? 3 format. So if they tak follow format, so I'll just write here not follow, does not follow format, then we say it's not valid, right? And if it's valid, it can either be sound or not sound, right? But if it's not valid, it's automatic not sound. If it's not valid, it's automatic not sound, right? So after we know it's valid or not valid, we can also determine sound or not sound. Sound is by looking uh true or false, right? So if all the premise and conclusion true, all the premises and the conclusion is true, then it's sound, right? And of course, if one of the statement inside is false, then we say it's not sound, right? But if it's not valid, we don't have to look at the premise and conclusion anymore. If it's not valid, it's automatic not sound, right? This one have to remember lah. Okay, now let's talk about inductive. For inductive, they will ask you strong or weak, right? They will ask you strong or weak, right? And how you know it's strong or weak is you look at the conclusion. If the conclusion is true, then it's strong. If the conclusion is false, then it's weak, right? But after they ask you strong or weak, they also can ask you this, which is cogent or not cogent, right? But you need to know that if the argument is weak, it's automatic, not cogent, automatic, okay? It means if the conclusion is false, you don't have to look at the premise anymore. It's automatic, not cogent, right? Okay, but what if it's strong? Then how you know it's cogent or not cogent? Well, you look at the premise, right? If all premise is true, then it's cogent lah. If some of the premise or maybe one of the premise is false, then it's not cogent. But if it's weak, then you don't have to waste your time. Straight away write not cogent if it's weak, right? I do want to mention one thing. In your textbook, your textbook actually made a mistake, right? Because your textbook, I remember got one example where they write not valid sound. Okay. I don't remember whether it's not valid sound ataupun weak cogent. Okay. But you need to know that it's not possible, right? It means your textbook salah. Yeah, your textbook salah. Because your textbook got show you one example where they says weak but cogent, which is not possible because the textbook wrong. Yeah, the textbook actually made a mistake there. So if it's weak, it has to be not cogent. It cannot be weak and cogent at the same time. It's just not possible. If it's weak, it's not cogent. Same with not valid. It cannot be not valid and sound, right? I know if you look at your textbook, memang ada satu example yang dia buat not valid sound. I forgot it's not valid sound ataupun weak cogent lah, but it's wrong. The textbook is salah, right? And when I made the video on my Kelantan, right? When I on my Kelantan video, I said the same thing as well, right? I explained the same thing as well, right? So if it's not valid, it's automatic not sound. You can see from my notes here. Okay. Okay, the way I write it is a little bit different lah, but the concept is the same, right? Okay, let's look at this Kelantan question. Determine whether the given argument is strong or weak, and cogent not cogent. So if you want to know strong or weak, you just look at your conclusion. The conclusion says all prime numbers are divisible by 1 and itself. This is true. That is why I write strong, right? Strong. And the reason why is because conclusion is true, right? But how to know cogent or not cogent? We look at all the premise. 1 is a prime number is false. 2 is a prime number is true. 3 is a prime number is true. 5 is a prime number is true. So premise 1 is false. So when one of the premise is false, we have to write not cogent, right? That's why I write not cogent because 1 is not prime number. Or you can also say because not all premises is true. Okay, one of the premise 1 is false. That is why it's not cogent, right? Okay, now we go back to the Selangor question. So what do you think for this question? What I have to write? Let's read the premise 1. 10 is divisible by 5. This is true. Okay. 20 is divisible by 5, which is also true. All even numbers are divisible by 5. This is false because not all even numbers are divisible by 5. Even numbers is 2, 4, 6, 8, all those numbers, right? And not all even numbers divisible by 5. Only some even numbers are divisible by 5, like 10, 20, 30. Those numbers can divide by 5, but not all. They said all, so that's why this is false. So when the conclusion is false, we have to go with weak, right? It means this is a very weak argument, so we have to write here weak, right? But after we write weak, we have to stay cogent or not cogent, right? And let me tell you, if it's weak, it's automatic not cogent, okay? It's automatic not cogent. You don't, but some student, they will ask me this. They will say like, hey, sir, I thought you said just now, if the premise, all the premise is true, it has to be cogent, and this premise is true, so you have to write cogent. Okay, no, I told you already, if it's weak, it's automatic not cogent already. Even if all the premise is true, it's still not cogent. Okay, so remember that. So if it's weak, it's automatic not cogent. Same with the deductive one. If it's not valid, it's automatic not sound. Okay, you don't have to check how to say check already. Okay, but of course, if it's valid, then you have to check for the check whether the premise and conclusion is true or false or not lah. Okay, but if it's not valid, you don't have to check anymore. Okay, you straight away write not valid, automatic not sound. So they ask you to justify your answer, so we can give a reason here. So what would be the reason? Because, okay, because the conclusion is false, right? Because the conclusion is false, right? The conclusion is false. So when the conclusion is false, then it's weak, right? And when it's weak, it's automatic not cogent, right? Even if all the premise is true, you still not cogent. It's still not cogent because when it's weak, it's definitely not cogent already. Okay, so this is the working. Okay, all right. I'm going to continue with number 3. Let's read the question. Table 1 shows bus fares between several places which are PQRST. So these are all bus fare, so they are all in RM. And A says what? Based on the information in table 1, complete the weighted. Weighted means your graph has to be labeled, right? And undirected means there cannot be any direction, right? Graph in the answer space. So whenever the exam always asks me to draw graph, I always want to know whether I need to put arrow or not, whether I have to label or not, right? So here they says it already. Weighted means you have to label, all the graph have to label, and undirected means I don't have to put the arrow. Okay, so weighted means I have to label. So the PQ I have to label with 3.00. Okay, okay, so I'll write 3.00 here. Okay, and don't have to put arrow because it's not a directed graph. Now it's QR5 and the R they never draw for me, so I have to draw myself. So I can put anywhere the R, I'll just put it here lah, right? So if I put it here, it will be like this, and then I'll just join Q to R, and I'll label as well the 5 ringgit. Okay, now P to R is 2.5. So P to R, just join it and then write 2.50. Okay, make sure you label because it's a weighted graph. P to S is 2.30. Okay, P is here. S is not here, so I have to add another point. So I'm just gonna add wherever. You can add it anywhere, right? Just put it here, right? So P to S, I'll just write label 2.30. And finally, the last one, S to T 4.20. So S to T, yeah, I'll just put it anywhere here and then 4.20. So you get 2 marks for this. Now for B, hence draw a tree based on your answer in 3A. Okay, let's talk about tree. What is tree? First of all, tree is a type of subgraph. Tree is a type of subgraph, right? But you have to take note here because there's 4 characteristics you have to memorize, right? First characteristic is all vertices must be connected. All vertices connected. And then second characteristic is the tree has to be a simple graph. Simple graph means no loops, no multiple edges, right? So no loop, no multiple edges, right? The next one is it has to have no cycle, cannot have any cycle. And the last characteristic is the number of edges is always equals to NV minus 1, right? Okay, let me explain what do I mean by subgraph. Subgraph means part of the graph, right? I repeat one more time. Subgraph means I'm trying to draw part of the graph, okay? Or it can be the whole graph also, right? So I repeat one more time. Subgraph means part of the graph ataupun the whole graph redrawn, okay? Ataupun dalam bahasa Melayu, sebahagian daripada graph ataupun seluruh graph, ya, semua graph redrawn, right? But since I'm drawing tree, I have to make sure there is no cycle, right? So of course I cannot draw this whole graph because this whole graph got cycle. But that's why I have to erase some lines lah. So what I will do is, first thing first, I will put down all the vertex first. P, Q, R, S, T. The reason why I put down all the vertices is because all vertices must be connected later. So we cannot leave out any of these vertex. And now I start to join them. But you cannot join T to Q because I already said subgraph is a type. Subgraph means it has to be a part of the graph, right? So TQ, there's no lines here. If you draw it here, it's not correct. So you can only draw when it's part of the the graph, right? So T to S you can join because memang ada line macam ni, and then S to P, right? And then P you can go R, and then R you can go Q, and this is where you stop. Because if you go like that, then it's not 3 anymore. So this is the answer, right? So this is how I will do it. Or maybe you can also erase this line. Okay, you can also buat macam ni, and then instead of going QR, you go like that. Can also. This is also a tree, right? So up to you lah. Eh? It means there is more than one possible answers. So I will just do it like that, and we can check all vertices connected. Yes. Simple graph, yes. No cycle, yes. NE equals NV minus 1, yes also, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 vertex, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4 edges, which is true, because NE equals to NV, which is 5 minus 1. You end up with 4 edges, right? So this is how you draw 3, okay? So that's how you do it lah. Okay, you get 1 mark for the 3, and that's all. Let's continue with number 4. Diagram 2 is a Venn diagram showing the number of elements in universal set A, set B, set C. So, okay, if you can look carefully, they never put dot here. Okay, they never put dot beside the number. It means all these numbers represent number of elements, right? Because if they put dot, then it means it's elements, right? But if they never put dot beside, then this is the number of elements, right? So now it says what? Given number of element in set A equals to number of elements in B union C complement. Find the value of X. So let's talk about A. So number of elements in set A. Well, A is this circle. So if it's this circle, then how many elements you have? It will be 4x plus 4 plus 2 plus 10, right? And you end up with, let's see, 4 plus 2, 6, 16 plus 4x, right? This is the number of elements in set A, right? And now it's time to calculate number of elements in B union C complement. Okay, I recommend you calculate number of elements in B union C first, right? So let's talk about B union C. Where is B union C? B union C means you take B and you take C and then take everything. Because union means you ambil semua. So B and C you ambil semua, right? So if B and C you ambil semua means what? It means 4 plus 2 plus X plus 6 plus 10. But they got put a complement here. Complement here means what? Selain daripada B union C. It means I have to take everything except B union C. It means we only take 4x and 2x. Because of the complement, we will not take the 4, 2x, 6, 10. It means I'll take everything except the B union C, right? So it will be 4x plus 2x. So here I'll just write 4x plus 2x. And since they say these two are equal, it means I can write 16 plus 4x equals to 6x because 4x plus 2x is 6x, right? So I will just continue here. Uh, okay, let's continue here. So I'll just write 16 plus 4x. Number of, that's the NA equals to the NB union C complement, which is 6x. Now I can find x, just move this over, becomes 6x minus 4x equals 16, 2x equals 16, and x equals to 8. And they ask you to find x, right? So yeah, that's the answer, right? Okay, let's continue. The Venn diagram in the answer space shows set x, y, z such that universal set is x union y union z. On the diagram in the answer space, shade this and this. Okay, let's go to the answer space and find out where's the diagram. Okay, it's here, right? So now I have to shade x union z. Well, x union z means you will take x, you will take z, and then take ambil semua, right? That's what it means by union. Okay, but of course, if you want me to explain using the labeling method, can also. This is how the method I teach is like that. I will just label every empty space. I'll label with numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Of course, it doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can also be like 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. It doesn't have to be exactly same labeling, right? You can just make sure you label every empty space with a number, right? So what you do now is you write down x and you write down z, right? So what is x? What is inside x? 2 and 3, right? And what is inside z? 5 and 6. And since they want union, it means you will take all. It means you combine these two into one. So now x union z will be 2, 3, 5, 6. So now you know the answer is you shade 2, you shade 3, you shade 5, you shade 6, right? So you shade, 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 shade. Okay, try to shade nicely and use ruler and try not to shade, how to say, shade outside the thing, right? So this one also try to shade nicely. And yeah, okay, if you can use ruler, it will look more kemas. Okay, and of course this 1 and 4 you have to erase it at the end. Okay, now done already. Now it's time to do the second question. X union Y intersect Z complement. Let's use the same method. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they got put bracket, means I have to do bracket first. So bracket says Y intersect Z complement. Okay, what is Y? Y is the circle. So if you look carefully inside the circle, there is 3, 4, 5, right? So I will just write 3, 4, 5. And then what is Z complement? Z complement means everything except Z. Selain daripada Z. So what is Z? Z is the triangle, and inside the triangle there's 5 and 6. Then what is Z complement? It means everything except the 5 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So remember, complement means selain daripada Z. Okay, it means tamau Z lah, tamau 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now look at the symbol in middle, in between them, intersect. So I have to find out the intersection between these two. Intersection means I find whichever that repeat. So which one repeats here? 3, 3, 4, 4. It means the intersection of them is 3 and 4. But this is not the final answer yet. This 3, 4 is the answer for Y intersect Z complement. I still have to do the X union 3, 4. So what is X? Let's write down. X is the 2 and 3, right? X is 2 and 3, right? So now I will take 2 and 3 union with the Y intersect Z complement, which is 3, 4 just now I already do, right? And the symbol in between this time is union. And if it's union means I'll take everything. I'll take everything, right? Take everything, combine everything into one. So the answer will be 2, 3, and 4. So my answer will be, I will shade the 2, 3, and 4, right? So here, here, and here. So let's shade nicely. Okay, so this is how we do it. Shade, shade. Okay, like that. Make sure you shade nicely. Don't shade outside the shaded region because you might lose marks, right? And don't forget to erase all these 1, 5, 6, right? Because if you don't erase, they will consider your shade that region also. So yeah, this is how you do it. Okay, okay. And of course, all these things you don't have to show them. This one all tak ada markah one, right? But I'm just gonna leave it here so that you can refer the working lah. But during exam, you don't have to show them this, right? Okay, let's move on. I'm doing question number 5, right? Okay, let's read the question. Encik Amsha works as an engineer with a net monthly salary of RM 5,500. This is monthly salary. He also received 500 for his housely monthly rental. So this is an income, right? 500 because he received, right? Table 2 shows the expenditure of Encik Amsha in December. So all of this is expenditure. It means expenses. So all of these it will minus. You have to minus because they are all expenses, right? So like housing loan, car installment, family insurance, grocery, blah blah blah. All these are expenses, right? So what happens here? Encik Amsha wants to buy a new car worth 50,000. He plans to save up 10% of the car price to pay the deposit within half of the year. Will Encik Amsha be able to achieve his financial goal? Justify your answer. Okay, before we even do this, before we focus on this, we first need to calculate the amount he can save in 1 month first, right? So we have to find the monthly cash flow first. That's the first thing, right? So let's calculate the monthly cash flow, right? And what is the formula for cash flow? Take your total income minus with your total expenses. So your monthly income total is 5500, right? 5500 plus with 500, right? So this is your monthly income, all right? This is also a monthly income, right? Because it's a rental received. But then you have to minus with all the expenses, right? And these are all monthly also. So minus, minus, minus everything lah. But I will plus all of this together first, right? So 1200 plus 780 1200 plus 780 plus 500 plus 750 plus 400 plus 550 plus 700 plus 500. Okay, my calculator give me 5380. So that will be the total expenses, and I have to minus them. I have to minus the 5380 all together, right? So now I will press this in my calculator and see what I get. So 6,000 minus 5380. Okay, I think I did something wrong here. I'm not sure. Did I did something wrong here? Let's press one more time. 1200 plus 780 plus 500 plus 750. 400. Okay, 5500 plus 500 minus. Okay, yeah, I get 620. Yeah, so RM 620 is the monthly cash flow. And what does it mean when your cash flow is positive? It means you have lebih money to save. That's what it means when your cash flow is positive. If your cash flow is negative, means what? It means your income is not enough to cover your expenses. Then you will get a negative cash flow. But if your cash flow is positive, it means your income is enough to cover your expenses, and you also have some extra left to save. So this is what you can save in 1 month. That's what it means, right? Now only we focus on what they want, right? So what is Inche Amsha's goal? He wants to buy a new car, but usually when you buy a car, you don't pay 50,000 upfront. You don't do that. You will pay the down payment, right? So he says here he only plans to save up 10% of the car price to pay the deposit within half of the year. Half a year, huh? Will Inche Amsha be able to achieve his financial goal? Justify your answer. All right. If 1 month he can calculate 620, right? So we can actually count how many he can save within half year, right? So I'm just gonna say right here what you write savings, but I will take 620 times with, okay, this is for monthly, right? 1 month. So within half of the year means 6 months, right? Because 1 year has 12 months, so half will be six. And now we can know how much he saved within half year, right? So if this cash flow is the same for throughout the 6 months, then he will end up with RM 3,720 in his savings, right? And now the question is asking whether this is enough to pay 10% of the car price. Well, let's find out what is 10% of 50,000. So what I will write here, car price to pay the deposit. So I will just write deposit here, lah. So deposit will be 10%, which is 10 over 100, times with 50,000. So let's see what I get here. Okay, I can cut the zero here, and then we're just left with 500 times 10, which is RM 5,000, right? So what do you think? Is the savings for 6 months? Okay, I should write here half year, right? Savings half year. So what do you think? Is it enough? Is it enough to pay for the 5,000? The answer is no, right? Because the saving is less than 5,000, right? So what do we have to write here? So the question asks you, will Inche Amsha be able to achieve his financial goal? Let's answer the question. No, right? No. Inche Amsha will not be able to achieve his goal. To achieve his goal. And we have to give a reason, right? Because they say justify. So what's the reason? Because because the total the total amount of money saved in 6 months is less than 5,000, right? It's less than RM 5,000. Yeah, I think this reason is good enough, right? So let's read again. No, Inche Amsha would not be able to achieve his goal ataupun his financial goal because the total amount of money saved in 6 months is less than 5,000. Yeah, so it's not enough, right? So, yep, this is how I would do it. Let's continue with number 6. Okay, wait, this one is number 5. Okay. Okay, let's go. Number 6. Let's read the question first. In a survey, to study the relationship between time and number of workers, okay, it was observed that the time required T minutes to set a table increases as the number of customer in a hotel increases. What does it mean by T increases as customer increases? It means T varies directly as C. It means we can write down the variation here. T varies directly as C, right? However, the time is T, yeah, to be reduced if the number of workers P who set the table is more. So it means this is varies inversely. Okay, so you remember varies directly means what? Satu increase, yang lain pun increase. Satu decrease, dia pun decrease. Means dia sama. Kalau increase, both increase. Kalau decrease, both decrease. Then it varies directly. Tapi kalau satu increase, satu decrease, then it varies inversely. So time is found to be reduced if the number of worker is more. So definitely this is inversely as P like that, right? Okay, let's write again nicely, C over P, okay? Okay, let's read one more time. So this is a variation question, T represents time and is increases when customer increases. So time T varies directly as C. But then it says time is reduced when worker is more. So varies inversely lah. So time varies inversely as P. That's why when you combine it, it becomes T varies directly as C and inversely as P. Okay. But we need to know what T stands for, C stands for, and P stands for, or else we might, how to say, ganti the wrong value and then we will salah later. So T actually represents time required in minutes. So let's write down, and let's write down the minutes also because that's important. Okay, C is the number of customer. So I'll just write here number of customer. And then T is also what? It's also number, right? But it's number of workers. So number of workers, right? So now it says what? Given 20 workers, okay, workers. So this is definitely P value. The P is 20. 150 minutes. The unit is minutes. So this is definitely the T. And then 250 set of tables which have 8 sittings. What is this? P and T they given, so they should give me customer, right? But the customer they never give me. Instead, they give me 250 set of table with 8 sitting. So can we calculate the C? Yes. Just take 250 times 8 because C is the number of customer, right? Number of customer. And if they say there is 250 table and each table have 8 sitting, it means the customer that can sit will be 250 times 8 lah. So if you just press quickly, you just get 2000, right? Okay, let me tell you why you need the P, T, and C. It's because you need the P, T, and C to find K later. Because when we do variation question, after we write down this, the next step is always changing the symbol, this symbol here to equal. But when you change to equal, you have to add a constant. Okay, and usually we will use K, but you can use any alphabet you want actually, right? And when you add a K, it will become like this, K times C over P, right? And what we do now is we will try to find the K. Okay, we will try to find the K. Okay, when we do variation question, the step is like that, right? Write down the variation and then change the variation to equation and then tambah K and then find the K. After we find the K, then we rewrite the whole thing again. Okay, let's find the K now. In order to find K, I need to have T, C, and P. I need to have all three. Okay, I cannot just have T and C. Cannot. It has to be all three have. So we have it already. T is 150, and then K times with C over P. C is 2000, right? And then P is 20. Okay, that's the workers. So now I can find my K, but this one you can divide first. What is 2000 divided 20? Cut, 200 divided 2 is 100, and then 150. So your K will be 150 divided 100. If you use your calculator, you get 3 over 2, or you can also say 1.5, right? So now what is your A answer? Express T in terms of C and P. Okay, the answer will be T equals to K times C over P. But since K is 3 over 2, so it will be 3 over 2 multiplied with C over P. But you can actually simplify this. When it's fraction, multiply with fraction, you will take atas, multiply atas, bawah, multiply bawah. So you become 3C over 2P like that, right? So this is your answer for A. Now let's do B. B wants you to calculate the number of workers, which is P, right? Can you see how helpful it is if I just write down all this, right? If I don't write this, it becomes so confusing because we don't know what is C, what is P, what is T. That's why I write it beside here. So calculate number of workers means I'm finding P, right? Needed to set up 150 table sets in 1 hour 30 minutes. I think this is trying to tell you the customer, right? So if there's 105 table, wait, let me think about it. 105 table. Okay, first of all, let's write down our formula first. T equals to 3C over 2P. We already know the question wants you to find P. So in order to find P, it means definitely I need the C and I need the T. I need this value and this value, right? And I need to have both T and C, right? T is the time in minutes, okay, which is given here, 1 hour 30 minutes. I think it's 90, right? Because the time here has to be in minutes. So if 1 hour is 60 minutes, right? So it will be 60 minutes plus with 30, and in total it will be 90 minutes, right? Then what about the C? C is the number of customer. Okay, they never tell me number of customer, they just say number of table, right? But I already know one table can have 8 sittings. It means one table equal 8 customer. So if 105 table, it will be 105 times 8 customer. Okay, because I want the customer, so I have to times 8, right? Okay, let's erase this and write nicely. So it will be 105 multiply 8, like that. Okay, so now we can find our P, right? First thing first, 60 plus 90, 30 is 90. And this one divide 2P, you can move it up, becomes times with 2P equals to, okay, what is 3 times 105 times 8? Okay, let me just press my calculator. My calculator give me 2520, so I'm just gonna write it here. And now how to find P? Well, you can move the 90 over there, or you can also, yeah, up to you lah, can also, or you want to take 90 times 2 first, baru pindah pun boleh lah. Okay, I'm just gonna do it like this, where I will, okay lah, let's do it like this lah. Let's take 90 times 2P, which is 180P equals to 2520, and then P will be 2520 divide 180. And if you press this, you will get the answer. Okay, my calculator give me 14, right? And don't forget, this 14 is actually the P, which is number of workers. So yeah, that's the answer, right? They asked you to find number of workers. So yep, sudah siap. Okay, let's continue. Okay, question number 7 is a life insurance question. The reason why I can tell is because I'm looking at this table, right? So when you see this table, this is definitely life insurance, right? Because these are all factors that can affect your premium of life insurance. Okay, smoking status, age, right? Gender, right? Okay, now let's read the question. Number 7, table 3 shows the annual premium. So premium rate scheduled per 1,000 face value of a yearly renewable term insurance offered by Syarikat Insurance Karisma. Okay, so far nothing important here. And then let's see what it says. Puan Imelda is 38 years old, so this one lah, and it's Puan, right? So definitely not male, it's female. Healthy and non-smoker, so healthy non-smoker. So this is the rate. Okay, this is the rate. Okay, now it says she wants to buy a policy of life insurance worth RM 180,000. Okay, this we call it the face value, right? What we call this? The face value. Ataupun dalam bahasa Melayu, the nilai muka. Nilai muka. From Syarikat Insurance Karisma, she also wants to add on a critical illness policy. Okay, the insurance company offers critical illness policy with a coverage of 35% of basic face value. All right. And the premium rate is 1.75 per 1,000 ringgit based on Puan Imelda's age and health status. Calculate total annual premium that Puan Imelda needs to pay. Okay, first thing first, we have to know the formula. So what is the annual premium formula to for life insurance? It will be the face value divide by 100, because in life insurance it's always per 100 one, and then times with the rate. Okay, and the rate you refer the table lah for the rate, right? So we can actually find our annual premium now. So what is the face value for Puan Imelda? It's 180,000, right? And divide with 1,000 because it's per 1,000, and then times with rate. And the rate for Puan Imelda, I already circled it, 1.63, right? So this should be your answer, but she got add on another policy, right? So I have to plus with the critical illness policy, which is uh the basic value, I mean the face value for the critical policy, they says here is 35% of the basic face value. It means 35%, which is 0.35 multiply times with the original face value 180,000. So this is how you get the face value of the critical illness policy. And the formula is same. You will divide with 1,000 times with the rate. And the rate is separate. Okay, it's not the same as the rate, the just now punya rate. This critical illness, the rate is 1.75, right? So let's put in bracket here and let's put bracket here, right? And this is how you calculate the total annual premium. So let's press this 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 can cut. So you just press 180 times 1.63. Okay, my calculator give me 293.4. And now I have to plus with this one, right? So let's press 0.35 times 180,000 divide 1,000 and then equal and then times 1.75. Okay, my calculator give me 110.25. So the last step here is to plus them together and then I will get the total annual premium. So my calculator give me 403.65. And don't forget to write RM here lah, because this is the money you have to pay to the insurance for 1 year. Okay, the premium. Okay. if you don't want to write RM up here, it's fine, but make sure you write RM at the final answer. Okay, so yeah. Okay, let's continue with number 8. Diagram 3 shows a distance time graph. So distance time, graph of a taxi in 24 minutes. Always look at the unit when we are doing this kind of question. So the distance is in kilometer, the time is in minute, right? But usually when it's kilometer, it has to per kilometer, kawan dia akan jadi hour, right? So this question we have to be careful and see what unit they want later. And then it says for 24 minutes, okay, betul. Soalan A asks you to state the value of P if the taxi is stationary for 6 minutes. Okay, let's understand what is this line, what is this line, what is this line first. So the first line, what happens during this line? What happens here? The time increases and the distance also increase. It means what happens here? The taxi move forward, right? Move forward, right? This is what happens on this line. The taxi move forward. What happens here? The time is increasing, but the distance never have any change. It means here the taxi stop. Okay, and another word for stop is stationary. Okay, they are the same meaning. And then what about here? This one is move further forward. Okay, so yeah. So now they want you to state the value of P if the taxi is stationary for 6 minutes. So which line? Which line is the stationary line? This line, right? So they say stationary for 6 minutes. It means the time here is 6, right? So how to find P? Okay, you can say P plus 6 equals 14. Therefore, P is 8, right? Or another way to write this is when you take 14 minus P, you will get 6. So P is 8. Okay, you can write like that also can, like this also can, it's the same. Okay, okay, do I have to explain? Because the difference here and here is 6, right? So when you take 14, 14 is this whole thing, right? And then minus with P will give you 6 lah. So 14 minus P is 6, right? Or you can also write P plus 6 equals 14. Yeah, it's the same, right? Okay, hope you understand. Now we continue with the B question. So B says calculate the value of Q, which is which Q? Oh, this one, right? So Q is actually a distance, the distance. If the speed of taxi for the last 10 minutes is 72 kilometer per hour, so the speed is 72 kilometer per hour, right? And for the last 10 minutes, so I will only focus on this line, right? But this is a distance time graph. And do you know what is the formula for speed? The formula for speed is distance over time, right? And how can I find speed? How can I find speed from my distance time graph? I can use gradient. So if I say speed is 72, it means gradient is 72. Okay. Why I can use gradient? Because the formula for gradient is you take the difference in y divide with difference in x, right? And if you look carefully here, the y-axis in this question is distance, the x-axis here is time. So you are taking difference in distance bahagi difference in time, which is exactly the same as the speed formula. That is why gradient of the line, gradient of this line will give you the speed, right? That's why if they say speed is 72, means gradient is 72. So how to find the formula, how to find gradient? You will use the gradient formula, which is y minus y divide x minus x, right? But you need two coordinates. So since I'm finding for this line, so I definitely need two points along this line. So the first point here I can see is 24q. Okay, and then the next point is 14, 17. But actually it's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong if you do it like that. The reason why is because look carefully at the unit for the speed. It's 72 kilometer per hour. So we have to make sure the y-axis is distance is in kilometer and this is in hour. So doing it like this is definitely wrong. So what you have to do is you have to divide 60, divide 60, divide 60. All right. Okay. So what will be the coordinate here? It will not be 14, 17. It will be 14 divide 60 because I have to change to hours. So what is 14 divided 60? 0. Uh 23333. So how okay, let's use our calculator and change to fraction. Okay, it's 7 over 30. Yeah. So when you divide 60 here, you get 7 over 30. Then what about 24? What about 24 divide 60? You will get 2 over 5. Okay, 2 over 5. So what is this coordinate? it'll be 7 over 30, and the y coordinate is 17. And then this coordinate will be 2 over 5, and then the y coordinate is q. Now only I can take these 2 points and substitute inside the gradient formula. Okay, the gradient formula is y coordinate minus y coordinate. So we can say write q minus 17, divide 2 over 5 minus 7 over 30. Let's put bracket here, 7 over 30, right? Okay, if I am you, I will tekan this one first, right? So what I will do now is I will leave the q minus 17, and then I will press this thing in my calculator. So 2 over 5 minus 7 over 30. All right, my calculator give me 1 over 6. But remember to open bracket. Okay, if you don't open bracket and you write like this, it's wrong. Because if you write like this, if you don't put bracket, it means you are taking q minus 17 bahagi 1 dulu. Okay, baru bahagi 6, which is wrong. That's why you have to open bracket, so that you know that this 1 over 6 is together one. So now let's erase. Now we can find our q lah. So how to find q? Well, we can slowly pindah the 1 over 6 and then pindah the 17. 1 over 6, when you pindah, it becomes times, right? Because dia duduk bawah. So it becomes 72 times 1 over 6, which is q minus 17 equals to 12. Okay, and then now you get your q is equals to 29, right? And since your q is the distance, so I think it's better if you write the unit kilometer there, right? Because q is on the y-axis, and the y-axis is the distance in kilometer. So that's how you do it. All right, now for my question 2, last question. Describe completely the motion of taxi for the last 10 minutes. So if I want to describe the motion for the last 10 minutes here, I can mention about what we can mention. We can mention the distance. We can also mention the time. All right, and we can also mention the speed, because we know the speed for last 10 minutes is 72, right? So let's try to mention all these things, right? Even though it's only 3 marks, all right? Even though it's only not 3 marks, it's only 1 marks only. Okay, but we can mention a lot of stuff, right? So let's mention everything here. So we can say for the last 10 minutes, right? Okay, so for the last 10 minutes, the taxi, what happens? The taxi moves, right? The taxi moves. Taxi moves, and we can say moves how many kilometers? Okay, Q we already know is 29, right? So from here to here, the difference here is 29 minus 17, which is, I don't know, let's press calculator. 12, right? 12. So we can mention that it moves 12 kilometer, right? Moves for 12 kilometer, right? With we can mention the speed also, because we have the speed of this for the last 10 minutes, which is 72, right? So with speed of 72 kilometer per hour. Okay, so yeah, this is good enough, right? I mentioned the time, I mentioned the distance, I mentioned the speed. Okay, so yeah, this is how I would write for this question. Okay, what if you write in bahasa Melayu? Can also, you can say taksi bergerak sejauh 12 kilometer dengan kelajuan 72 kilometer per jam. Can also, it's the same thing. All right, let's continue. Okay, number 9. This is definitely a straight line question. Let's read the question. Diagram 4 shows a road AB, so we can see it. It's a sengit punya line. Okay, sengit punya line. AB passes through the midpoint between F and G. What? AB passes through midpoint F and G. Oh, I think I understand. It means F and G, you can actually connect them together and there will be a midpoint, right? And since they say the AB passes through the midpoint, so the midpoint must be here then, right? So what I will do now is I'll draw a line. Actually, I'll just connect them together, right? So I'll just connect them together, and I will just label here, and then I will just label it like this, right? Okay, the reason why I label like this is because to remind myself that the distance here and the distance here is the same, because this is the midpoint, right? So this is the midpoint. Okay, now it says soalan A, determine the coordinate of midpoint of F and G. It means they're asking you to find this point, right? So how do we find this point? Well, we use the midpoint formula. And do you know what is the midpoint formula? The midpoint formula is you take x1 plus x2 divide 2, y1 plus y2 divide 2. This is the midpoint formula, right? So how to find midpoint of FG? It will be bracket x plus x divide 2, y plus y divide 2. And we have to take the FG punya coordinate tambah. So what is the coordinate of G? 3, 1, right? So how to find the midpoint? X plus X coordinate first. So -7 plus 3. And then Y coordinate plus Y coordinate, which is 1 plus 1. So -7 plus 3 is -4, divide 2 is -2, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 divide 2 is 1. You can use your calculator to help you. Huh? So this -2, 1 is this point right here, right? So now we have our midpoint. Now we get 1 mark already. Okay, so you get 1 mark for this. Now we do B. Find equation of straight line that, no, it starts here. A straight road KL is built. Okay, if you look at your diagram, you don't see the KL, right? So this is a new road. And then it says the road is parallel to AB. So parallel to AB, it means that the gradient same lah. And then passes through town F. So where is town F? So town F is here, right? So I think my KL road is something like that. Yeah, it has to be parallel with AB and passes through F, right? And we have the coordinate of F, -7, 1. So what I'm trying to find now is this equation, the equation of this line, right? And then it says find equation of straight line that represents KL. So how can I find the KL equation? Okay, if the line is parallel with AB, it means it will be a gradient line also. It means it will be a Saget line also. And when it's a Saget line, the equation will be y equals mx plus c. Okay, but the problem here is I don't have the m and I don't have the c, right? So how can I find the m? How can I find the gradient? Well, KL punya gradient sama dengan AB because they are parallel. The soalan says parallel, right? So what we can do is we can find gradient of AB and pinjam AB punya gradient masuk dalam KL punya equation. So how can I find AB gradient? Well, I need 2 points. Ada ke 2 point yang saya boleh guna? Okay, the first point that we can use here is -2, 1. Another point I can use here is the 0, 2. Yeah, 0, 2. Okay, but of course you have to use 2 points along the AB line lah. So this is the only 2 points that I can use. So it will be y minus y divide x minus x. That's the formula of gradient. So it will be 1 minus 2 divide -2 minus 0. Okay, remember always belakang minus belakang dulu. So let's calculate and see what I get for my gradient. 1 minus 2 is -1. -2 minus 0 is -2. You end up with positive 1 over 2. But this is the gradient of AB, but at the same time, it's also gradient of KL. So since I have my gradient now, I can write my equation. It will be y equals mx plus c, but the m I find out already, 1 over 2. So it will be y equals 1 over 2x plus c. C stands for y-intercept. Okay, what's the y-intercept of KL? I don't know. I don't know the y-intercept of KL. I don't even know what's the y-intercept. So if I don't know the y-intercept, how can I find the y-intercept? Well, it's very simple. You just need to substitute the x and the y coordinate inside this equation, right? Did you realize if you want to find c, all you need is the x and the y? Because when you have the x and y, then you can find your c, right? But the x, y, you have to substitute with a point that passes through. Okay, you can only substitute the x and y with a point yang ada passes through, which is -7 in this case, right? Because I'm finding the equation of this line, the KL line. So this KL line only passes through -7, 1. So I will write PT here. PT stands for passes through -7, 1, right? You can only substitute point yang ada passes through. Yang tak ada passes through tak boleh. Okay, so that's this one got passes through. That's why you can substitute. So x will be -7, y will be 1. So now it becomes 1 equals to 1 over 2x plus c. This will be -7, and this is -7 over 2 plus c. And then now you will get 1 plus 7 over 2, which is 9 over 2. So finally, what is my final answer? What is my final equation? Y equals, I will tengok balik sini and write down 1 over 2x plus c. But the c I already know is 9 over 2. So this is the answer. Okay, so how many marks for this? 3 marks for all this. Okay, hope you understand. All right, let's keep going with number 10. I think it's a solid geometry question. Let's read. Diagram 5A shows a net of a geometry solid. Net means it's a 3D shape and you open it up. So this is what happens. All right. Okay. So now it says given the diameter of circle is 14 cm. Okay. Usually we don't use diameter. We use radius, right? For all the formulas, it's like very rare that you see diameter inside the formula. You always see radius. So straight away convert to radius because diameter is actually 2 times radius. So if the diameter is 14, then the radius is 7 because 14 divided 2 is 7. So this is the diameter of circle and the S is 25. So I think I can write 25 in S here. Okay. Okay, so I think this should be 25 as well. Yeah, they should be same length, right? And then the radius of circle is 7. So I think I can label like that. R equals 7. Okay. And then it says calculate height of the geometry solid. Okay, before I even find the geometry solid punya height, I want to ask you, what shape is this? What 3D shape is this? It's a cone, right? Because only cone consists of two surface. One flat surface, which is the circle dekat bawah, and then one curved surface. All right. And of course, when you open the cone, it will look like this, right? It's like you will get a sector shape and this is the base lah, right? So this is definitely a cone. But let's label the 25 and 7 inside here. So the 7 you don't go and label here, is wrong. The 7 is the radius of the circle, the which is the flat surface at the bottom. So the 7 is actually like this, right? Then what about the 25? Okay, the 25 will become the slanted height. All right, will become the slanted height because when you fold it up, when you roll this paper into a cone, this 25 becomes the slanted height. Okay, you have to imagine it lah. When you roll it, when you how to say, when you take this point and this point and you try to how to say connect them together, and then this point will end up going up. Okay, when you join this, right? And the 25 will become the slanted height. So now what you want to find is the height of the geometry solid. So it's very clear to me that what they are asking for this height. Okay, the 90-degree punya height. Okay, which is the vertical height. So how can I find the vertical height? Well, we can use Pythagoras theorem. So the height, I'll just call it H. And since I have the 7 and 25 and it's a 90-degree here, definitely we can use Pythagoras theorem. So how to use Pythagoras theorem? Square root, bracket square. Okay, plus or minus? Minus, because I'm not finding the hypotenuse. I'm not finding the longest side, right? So definitely it's 25 square minus 7 square. Okay. And if you press this, you will end up with 24. And then let's write cm because everything is in cm, right? So that is the answer. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Okay, B question. Let's read. Diagram 5B shows the combined net of diagram 5A with another geometry solid. Given the volume of combined geometry solid is 4312. So this is the total volume 4312, right? And then it says here by using pi 2207, calculate the value of T in cm. T is actually the length of this rectangle. Okay, before we start to do the question, let's think about how this thing will look like in a 3D when it's 3D, right? So when it's 3D, we already know this is a cone, right? We know that from the beginning already. When we do A, I already explained it. This is a cone, right? But the problem is now is like it's combined with another solid, which is like this. So if you look at this is actually a cylinder. Yeah. Okay, because only cylinder consists of two circular flat surface and one curved surface, right? The circle is a flat surface, and so when you roll this up, it will end up looking like this, right? This we call it flat surface, by the way, right? The one I'm shading now, okay? Because it's flat, right? But the rectangle is a curved surface, right? This one is a curved surface, okay? Okay, now what we do is we label the T inside our 3D diagram, which is this one, lah. This is my T, okay? And don't forget, we have the length of the cone. We find it just now, right? Let's go back up. 7, 24, 25, right? So the radius of this is 7. Okay. It means that the cylinder radius also 7 lah, because they have the same radius. Okay. And then what about the height of the cone? It's 24. And then the slanted height for the cone would be 25, right? And now we are trying to find the height of the cylinder. Okay. Okay, so let's start to use this information, volume information, to find the thingy. Okay, let's talk about volume of cone. What is the formula for volume of cone? It will be 1 over 3 pi r square h. And then for volume of cylinder, the formula is pi r square h. Okay, this is the formula that you need to memorize. And I believe this formula got given in exam. Okay, let me show you. Yeah. So volume of cone and volume of cylinder. Yeah, this is given in exam. Okay, so yeah, I found it already. It's here. You see, volume of cone and the volume of cylinder. Where's cylinder? Oh yeah, here, right? So you can see it, right? So yeah, So don't forget this. In exam, they actually give you the formula, right? So remember, if you don't know the formula, you can't do this question, right? You have to use the formula. Okay, so let's use the formula now. 1 over 3 pi. Okay, the pi they already says use 2207. So I'm just gonna follow whatever they want me to use. And then the radius will be the radius of cone lah. So what is the radius of cone? It will be 7 square, right? 7 is the radius and then square and then times with the height of cone. Okay, this height has to be the vertical height, not the slanted height. So it has to be 24, right? 25, we don't use it, right? Unless it's surface area lah, because the surface area formula you need the slanted height. But when you're finding volume, the height you use for the volume is the vertical one, right? And don't forget to plus with the volume of cylinder, which is pi r square h. The pi, they already mentioned, use 2207 times with the radius of cylinder, which is 7, but you have to square it, and then times with the height of cylinder, which is t. Okay, so this whole thing I'll put bracket, and I know it's equals to 4312. So now I can find my t. First thing first is calculate this whole thing first lah. All right, I realize this one can cut. 3 and 24 also can cut. So now I just press 8 times 7 times 22. Okay, so use your calculator to help you. Okay, I'm pressing my calculator and my calculator give me 1232. So this is the total volume of the cone. But they still have to plus with this. This one also can cut. So just left with 22 times 7. Okay, let me press my calculator. It's 154. So it's 154 times t, so which is 154 t equals 4312. Okay, let's try to find the t now. This one can move over there. So it becomes 154 t equals to 4312 minus 1232. Okay, let me press my calculator. 3080. Okay, and then the last step is take the 3080 divide by 154. Okay, divide. Okay, my calculator give me 20 exactly. All right. And of course, you have to write cm lah, because everything is in cm. Okay. So this should be in cm as well. Okay. This is how you get 3 marks. Okay, let's move on to section B. Section B, they also says answer all questions in this section. So you cannot choose. You have to answer all. All right, let's look at number 11. I think it's a probability question. Let's read. Alia travels to office either by train or bus. The probability of Alia riding train is 2 over 5. If she rides a train, the probability that she is late is 1 over 6. But if she travel by bus, the probability that she is late is 5 over 8. Okay. And then soalan A, diagram 6 in the answer space shows the incomplete tree diagram. Complete the tree diagram in diagram 6. Okay, actually, the tree diagram comes out quite a few times already in the trial paper, right? So you all students, you need to make sure you really know how to write down, how to locate the tree diagram. Yeah, because I remember I see the tree diagram in other state paper as well, but in other state paper, they never draw this for you. They ask you to draw everything by yourself. Okay, so this one they actually draw it nicely for you already. You just have to put in the numbers, right? So they already mentioned here, K is for train, B is for bus, L is for late, L prime is not late. So I think here I have to put in the probability of train. Okay. Okay, I already forget what's the probability of train. Probability of train is 205. So definitely this is 205. And let me tell you something. The total here must always be 1. Yeah, same with here. The total here also must be 1. The total here must be 1 also. Okay. The total probability is always 1, right? So if the probability of her going with train is 205, then the probability of bus will be 305, right? How I get this is I take 1 minus 205, okay? Then I get 305, okay? Because total probability is always 1, right? Because it's either train or bus, right? So if I want to calculate the bus, I'll just take 1 minus 205 to get this, lah, right? Okay, now for the late probability, okay, this one is train late punya probability. So if I goes using train, what is the late punya probability? So let's see. If she rides a train, the probability that is late is 106. So what I write here, train late 106. Then what about train not late? It will be 506 here, because I mentioned already total probability will always be 1, right? So if this is 106, this is 506. How I know? I just take 1 minus 106. Now, what about bus? Okay, bus late is what? If you travel by bus, the probability she is late is 5 over 8. So definitely the bus late, this one is 3 over 8. Okay, 3 over 8. And then what about the, eh, no, sorry, it's not 3 over 8. What it says here? 5 over 8. Sorry, so this is 5 over 8. Okay. Yang ini baru 3 over 8. Okay, why I know this is 3 over 8? Because total probability will be 1. So I'll just take 1 minus 5 over 8 to get 3 over 8. Right? So now I already know all the possibilities, right? So all the possibilities, train late ataupun train not late ataupun bus late ataupun bus not late. So these are all the possibilities. And let me tell you, if you add all probability of all these, what you get? You will get 1. Yeah, you will get 1. Okay. But how to get the probability of train late? Well, it's very simple. Just take 205 times 1 over 6, right? Then what if I want train not late? I just take 205 times 5 over 6. Yeah, like that, right? And if I calculate the probability for all these and I add together, it will give you 1. Okay. All right, let's continue with B. So A sudah siap. B says, based on the diagram 6, find probability that Alia rides a train. Okay, rides a train and late. Train and late. So which option I have to take? 1, 2. So which one? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Train and late. So I think they are talking about this one, right? Train and late. So what I will write here, I will write number 1. Okay. So probability of train and late, right? So which is the KL one lah. So the probability will be 205 times 1 over 6. So one can cut, left with 3. So the answer is 1 over 15. Okay, so that's the first answer. Now let's do number 2. Find the probability Alia is late for office. So probability for late. So what is probability of late? Let's go down to the tree diagram. Let's look at all the options. Which one is probability late? This one and this one, right? This one is not late, right? And then this one is also not late because L prime is not late. So I have to calculate the KL probability and the BL probability and add together. But I already know the KL. The KL is 1 over 15. Okay, because I do it just now. So I'll just write here 1 over 15. Okay, because that's this one. But I still have to calculate the pass late punya probability, which is 3 over 5 times 5 over 8. Right? And here you have to be careful. You have to plus actually. Okay. Because after you calculate, when you calculate this one, you will times, right? When you calculate this one, you will times. But if you want to combine two together, you will plus. So it becomes 1 over 15 plus with 5 can cut, left with 3 over 8. And then this one, you can use calculator to help you. Let me press. 53 over 120. That's what my calculator give me. So I will just write the answer here. Okay, last question. Alia is not late for office. So let's see, what is Alia not late? So I'll just do it here, not enough space. So probability of not late. Okay, not late probability will be which one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one? Not late. This one cannot lah, because this one is late. This one can because it's not late. This one late, so cannot. This one not late, so this one, right? So what we have to do is we have to take 2 over 5 times 5 over 6 to get this probability, and then plus with 3 over 5 times 3 over 8 to get this probability, and then plus them together to get the answer, okay? But there is a faster way to do this question. Just now, I already calculate probability of late, which is this one and this one add together, right? And I already tell you in the beginning, the total probability of these 4 options add together would be 1. So if I want to do it fast, I can straight away take 1, which is all the 4 option probability combined, minus with this one and this one, okay? To get here and here, because this is the one I want. And this probability, I already do it just now, 53 or 120. So I can do it like this. It will save you a lot of time, right? So I'll just press calculator now. Okay, my calculator give me 67 over 120. Okay, that's the answer, right? But if you want to do it slowly, can also, you will get the same answer, right? If you do it slowly, you will take 205 times 506 plus 305 times 308, can also. You will end up with the same exact answer, believe me. Okay, all right, that's all. Okay, let's continue with number 12. Diagram 7 shows 2 points, A and B, on a Cartesian plane. So this is a transformation question. Okay, so far nothing important. Transformation T is a translation 2, -3. This 2 means move to the right. Okay, move to the right. This -3 means move downwards. Okay, Because when we baca translation, the atas punya number is for the pergerakan horizontal movement. This one is for vertical movement. So if I say 2, positive 2 means the right because positive, and then negative 3 is naik turun, but it's turun because negative. Yeah. Okay, after we understand this, we read the next one. Transformation P is reflection in the straight line y equals 1. Okay, whenever I teach my own student, I always say if the soalan mentioned about reflection in straight line y equals 1, I will ask my student to straight away go to y, cari 1 and draw a line. Yeah, straight away do it. So let's use red color. So y equals to 1 is this line here, right? So I will straight away draw this line, okay? And I will even label it later. So I will even label it. So y equals 1. Okay, so transformation is reflection, straight line y equals 1. Okay, afterwards, let's keep reading. Transformation R is an anti-clockwise rotation of 90 degree above center 2, 1. Okay, if you know the center of rotation, you should draw a cross. You should draw a cross. That's how I teach my student as well. Whenever you see the rotation, when you know the rotation center, you will draw a cross, okay, at the center. So the cross is at 2, 1. So 2, 1 is this one, right? So what I should do now is I should draw a cross on this center. So let's use other color. Let's use blue color maybe. Yeah, let's use blue color. So it will look something like this. Yep, like this. Okay, maybe up a bit. Yep, like this. And then let's draw another line to complete the cross. So yeah, this is the cross, right? So this cross is for you to do rotation later, okay? And they also mentioned about the direction, which is anti-clockwise. What is anti-clockwise? Lawan arah jam. So if you look at the clock, it's like that, right? 3, 6, 9, right? So the clock goes like this. So this is clockwise, right? So what is anti-clockwise? It will be the opposite, which is like that, right? So what I will do is above the cross here, I will put the arrow like this, right? To remind myself, it's an anti-clockwise rotation. Okay, so now we can erase this and see and keep reading. Okay, okay, now let's see here, number 1. Okay, let's write here number 1. So let's read. Given point A 6, -3 is the image of an object under transformation T. State the coordinate of object. So point A 6, -3 is the image, right? So if this is the image, then what is the object under transformation T? Okay, let's go to our transformation T. Okay, point A is this one, right? Is this one, right? 6, -3, right? But they say this is the image after transformation T, and transformation T is translation 2, -3. So what we have to find out is to find the object, right? Okay, how to find object? We have to terbalikkan this. Yeah, so 2, -3 becomes what? How to terbalik? Okay, 2 becomes -2, -3 becomes 3, right? Yeah, I have to terbalik. So now it becomes I have to move left and move up. Okay, so instead of moving ke kanan ke bawah, now it's like moving ke kiri ke atas. So it becomes 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. This is the answer. So the answer for number 1 is 4, 0. Okay, let me explain a bit why you have to change the 2 to -2. It's because I'm not finding image, I'm finding object. Yeah. So when you are finding object, it means you have to terbalikkan the transformation. So transformation T is translation 2, -3. It means if you start with 4, 0, if you start here as the object and you go and you buat 2, -3, you will end up A as your image. Okay, A will be end up with your image. That is why you have to terbalikkan because they want you to find object. Okay, hope you understand. All right, now let's do, okay, so number 1 finish already. They want to find object. So now we do number 2. State the coordinate of image of point B. This is very important. Image of point B. So if we want to state the image of point B, then what is B? The object lah. If they want you to state image of B, means B is the object. So number 2, B will be your object. So B will be your starting point. So it will be -2, 2. But since there's 2 questions, right? So I will write 2 times -2, 2, and then B -2, 2. Okay, and then I'll just put an arrow like that. Okay, so now it says the first one they want you to do transformation P, and then the next one transformation R. So this one do transformation P, this one transformation R, and later I'll just write my answer inside here, right? Then I'll get my full mark. Okay, let's go to B now. This time I'm finding image, so I don't have to terbalikkan macam tadi. Okay, like just now is because I'm finding object. That is why I have to terbalikkan the transformation. Now is like I just do it normally because I'm finding image, right? They give me object, I'm finding image. Okay, the first question. B, I have to start from B negative 2, 2, and I have to do transformation P. Transformation P, okay, we can refer here. Transformation P is what? Reflection in the straight line y equals to 1. Do you remember just now I asked you to draw the red color line? That's the line we will use to do the reflection. So B is here now, and the red color line is here. So when we do reflection, we have to count how many units from the B to the line. So one unit only. So when you reflect afterwards, you'll be 1 unit also. So the answer is here lah, negative 2, 0. And you just write it there, then you see already. And you get full mark. Okay. Now let's do the next part. The next question is also start from B, but this time I have to do transformation R. So what is transformation R? Anti-clockwise rotation 90 degree above center 2, 1. So I think I have to erase this, all right, because I have to start over from B, right? So B is here. This is my object. This is my object now, and I'm doing anti-clockwise 90 degree rotation about this center. So I will look at the blue color cross, okay, and I will also look at this arrow and do 90 degree. So if your cross looks like this and your object is here and your direction is like this, it means when you rotate 90, it will be here, rotate 180 is here, rotate 270 is here. So where do you think is your image later? It will be here, right? Because anti-clockwise 90. So definitely your answer will be somewhere here, right? But we need to know the exact coordinate. So how we do that? We the way I teach is I will count from the center to the point, but you always count horizontal, then only you count vertical. So count horizontal, how many box? So how many unit? 1, 2, 3, 4. So horizontal 4 unit, and then vertical 1 unit. So horizontal 4 unit, vertical 1 unit. And what we do is we have to terbalikkan this 4 and 1. So horizontal 4, vertical 1 becomes horizontal 1, vertical 4. But we already know the answer will jatuh here. So definitely when we go horizontal, now we will go back to our center, and now we will go horizontal 1. But this time when I go vertical 4, I will go down like this, right? So this is your answer, 1, negative 3. Okay, so let's write here, and then that will be the answer. Okay, let me explain one more time. Okay, when you do rotation 90 degree, you will count from the center. Actually, no, you have to know where your image jatuh first, right? Because if you don't know where your image, all right, in which side of the cross, if you don't know which side of the cross, you cannot count towards that, count towards the region, right? So you need to know where the image, where will be the image first. So I already know it's here. Then it becomes easy already. Now I just have to count the unit and then terbalikkan. So horizontal 4, vertical 1. Terbalik, horizontal 1, vertical 4. Okay. So horizontal mesti ke kiri, vertical mesti ke bawah, because the answer will jatuh here, right? So all you have to do is just move towards the answer, right? Why not you go with the horizontal 1, vertical 4 like that? It's because I know the answer will not jatuh here. That's why you don't have to do that. And one more thing you have to remember, only when you rotate 90 degree, then only you have to terbalikkan the horizontal unit and the vertical unit. If you rotate 180 degree, you don't have to do that. Because when you rotate 180 degree, let's say it's horizontal 4, vertical 1. After you rotate 180, it will be horizontal 4, vertical 1 also. Okay, if rotate 180 degree. But this question is rotate 90, that's why you have to terbalikkan. So this is the method I will use to do this question. All right. Okay, hope you understand. So 2 marks, 1 marks. So total 3 marks for this. Now we go to B question. Let's read the question. Diagram 8 in the answer space on page 25 shows quadrilateral ABCD and JKLH drawn on the Cartesian plan. Okay, let's go to page 25 and look at the diagram. So yeah, this one, right? So there's ABCD, HJKL, two shape here. Okay, let's see what they want. JKLH is the image of ABCD under transformation V. Okay, whenever you know who's the image, you should always put down the arrow. Okay, so now you know the start from ABCD lah, and then JKLH is image, so it means JKLH have to write belakang, and then ABCD is the object, right? And since they say under one transformation V, it means this arrow is V. Okay, so now we will try to describe the transformation V. So remember, it's ABCD is the object, JKLH is the image. So let's go to the diagram, and label it. This is object, this is image. So what do you think? From this thing to this thing, what transformation here? There's only 4 transformation you learn: translation, reflection, rotation, enlargement. I know it's not enlargement because the size is same, so it's definitely translate, reflect, rotate. I know it's not translate because translation, the orientation of the shape will not change. If you look at this, the 90 degree is here, but then suddenly the 90 degree becomes here already. So definitely the orientation change already. So it's either reflect or rotate. So if you're not sure if it's reflect or rotate, you will use this method where you draw lines. Okay, but when you draw lines, you have to draw lines from any point you want, but make sure you draw to a corresponding point, right? And if your line look like this in the end later, where all lines parallel, then it's a reflection, right? But if all your lines look like this at the end, then it's a rotation 180 degree. But what if it's not this case or not this case, where it's like very messy, something like that, right? Or like it means like it doesn't have this pattern where it's like parallel ataupun semua intersect, then it's a rotation 90 degree. All right. Okay. Okay. Now I will draw the lines and see what happens. Okay. Point D. D is the 90 degree, right? It's the point where it forms 90 degrees. So definitely the D and H, they are corresponding. Okay. Okay. What about A? Which one is the corresponding point for A? It will be J. Okay. It will be J. So I'll just draw another line. Okay. Use ruler lah. Okay. Use ruler to draw. And then now it will be point C. Point C is, I think it's L. Yeah. It's L. Okay. It has to be. Okay. Now I will uh, complete my diagram. Now it will be B from B, and B is definitely the corresponding is K. Okay. So, okay, let's draw it nicely. Okay, something like this, maybe. Okay, now we can see that all these lines, it doesn't form this pattern, right? All the lines are not parallel. But if all lines are parallel, then it's reflection, right? This is definitely not this case because there's line like that, like that, like that, like that. Okay, so it's definitely not reflection. And it's not rotation 180 degree because rotation 180 degree, all the lines will intersect nicely at one point, right? And this all these lines, even though they got intersect, but not all lines intersect here. Like some of it, that does not intersect here. So it's definitely a rotation 90 degree question, right? Where it's like the other intersect, tapi bukan semua line intersect, right? So this is definitely rotation 90 degrees. So we can straight away go to our working answer space and write down transformation V is rotation. Okay, is rotation. And how many degree? 90 degree. But you will not get full mark. If you write like that, you will not get full mark. Okay, the full mark is 3 marks. And in order to get the full 3 marks, you have to write, if it's rotation, you have to write these three information. First is 90 degree ataupun 180 degree. Okay, that's the first thing you have to write. Second thing you have to write is the direction, clockwise ataupun anti-clockwise, right? And then the third thing you have to write is the center, the rotation center. And you need all these three to get the full mark, right? So I already know it's 90, right? Okay. But I don't know whether it's clockwise, anti-clockwise, and I also don't know where the center, right? Okay, let me tell you something. You have to know the center first. Then only you can know whether it's clockwise, anti-clockwise, right? You cannot tell me like, oh, sir, it's a clockwise. Like cannot. You need to know where is your center first, right? Because the moment you know your center, that's when you can draw the cross. And once you draw the cross, then only you can find out whether it's clockwise or anti-clockwise. So what I do now is to find the center rotation. Do you know how to find center of rotation? Okay, if it's a rotation 180 degree, how you find the center of rotation? You don't need to find already because the intersection point is the center of rotation. If it's rotation 180 degree lah, but since this question is not 180 degree, it's a rotation 90 degree, then you need something. You need the compass. You need the compass to help you find the center. So what you do is, out of all these lines you draw, you will choose 2 lines that are not parallel and you do perpendicular bisector. Okay, so can you see how many lines I draw? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so out of these 4 lines, I have to choose 2 lines that are not parallel. Okay, okay, let me choose. I will choose this. Let me choose. Uh, so I'll erase some lines lah. So I will erase these lines. Okay, okay. So it's not smart to choose this line and this line. You know why? Because if you choose these two lines and you use compass to do perpendicular bisector, these two lines are very parallel, right? So it's gonna be very hard for you to find the center later. So I'm gonna erase one of these lines, all right? Okay, and I will also erase these lines, okay? Because it's very, I think I'll erase this, yeah. I'll erase this, okay? So now I'll only end up with two lines, this line and this line, right? And now what I do is I will do perpendicular bisector for using compass with these two lines, right? Okay, imagine this is C, this is H, right? Where do you think is the perpendicular bisector? Wait, C dengan H or C dengan L? C dengan L actually. Yeah. So I almost do wrong. This is C to L. Okay, because it's covered here. So actually this line is from C to L. Okay, so let's make it thicker so you can see it. Yeah, so it's actually C to L, right? This one also, let's make it tebal sikit. Okay, so these two lines are the two lines that I choose to do perpendicular bisector, and I need compass for this. So what you do now is you take your compass, all right, your compass. Okay, this is how your compass looks like, right? There is one part where it's like the tajam punya, okay, the sharp punya part, and then this one is for you to this one is the pencil, okay. Okay, this is pencil, right? And this one is the sharp part, right? So what you do is you use the tajam punya, you cucuk dekat C, and then you lukis atas, you lukis bawah. And then now you cucuk L, right? And then lukis atas, lukis bawah, and then join the line, right? But of course, I can't show you now because I'm using my laptop to do it. So I'm just gonna tell you the result. After you do that, you will get a straight line that looks like this. I'll use red color. Okay, like this. You will get a straight line that looks like this. Yeah. Okay. But a lot of students, they always ask me this question, Sir, how besar apa kena this compass saya kena buka besar or kecil, saya kena buka berapa cm. Actually, it doesn't matter. You can buka any cm you want, right? It's like you can buka until L also can. You can want to buka lagi besar also can. Up to you. Yeah, up to you. You can buka mana-mana boleh. Okay. But make sure if you, let's say you open until here, right, and you draw, right, make sure later when you, after you draw atas bawah, when you go to L, you don't change the, how to say, don't change the length lah. Make sure it's the same, right? Okay, so this is my first perpendicular bisector. Now I will repeat the same process for this line, for the AJ line. Okay, so let's go to our AJ now and draw another perpendicular bisector, and we will use the compass also. So what we do is we cucuk dekat A and open the compass, and you can open until mana-mana pun boleh. You want to open until J also can, tak semestinya until J also. But to me, I will open besar sikit lah, lebih kurang sampai sini. So I cucuk the tajam one, I cucuk here, and then the pencil I will draw like this, right? I will draw like this, right? And then now I remove the tajam part from A and then cucuk J, and then now I draw like this. Okay, but of course you have to use use the compass lah. You cannot just do it like me. And now it's time to join the lines, right? Yeah, it's time to join the lines. Okay, so when we join the line, it will actually look like this. I'll straight away tell you the result. Okay, the result is like this. Okay, something like this. Yeah, something like this, right? It means this is not supposed to be here lah. Okay, so it's actually okay. Let me fix myself. Okay, so oops, what happened? Okay, it means whenever you chuchok A and you draw, it actually ends up like this, right? And then when you chuchok J, it's something like that. Okay, I cannot show you the whole process because I'm using the screen, okay, and I can't show you using the compass, right? So you have to try it yourself lah, okay? So this is how it looks like. And as you can see, these two red color line is the perpendicular bisector, right? And they intersect at one point, right? So can you see they intersect at this point? So the intersection point of these two perpendicular bisector, that's the center, right? And the center is at 8, 8. So that is the answer. That is the center. So now we know our center, we can draw the cross, right? Always when we always know the what is it called, the center of rotation, we should always draw a cross, right? So let's draw a cross here. The reason why I draw the cross is because I want to know whether it's a rotate how many degrees, right? So now we can see already it's definitely this direction because your object is here and it's moving towards here, right? So that's why the direction is going this direction, right? So if it's this direction, is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? It's anti-clockwise, right? It's anti-clockwise and the center is at 8, 8. So now I can go back to my go back here and write transformation V is rotation 90-degree anti-clockwise, and we have to write about center 8, 8. Okay, or you can also say at center 8, 8. Okay, at center 8, 8. I can also. Okay, so yeah, all right. So hope you understand. Now we can continue lah. Okay, let's look at the next question. Next question says what? What it says here? Uh, uh, Describe transformation V. Okay, sudah siap lah. So 3 marks. So remember, when you describe rotation, it needs to have these 3 information. Okay, 90, 180, ataupun 90 ataupun 180, and then clockwise ataupun anti-clockwise, and center. Okay. Okay, now for question number 2, let's see what they want. One image of JKLH is drawn under a transformation and anti-clockwise rotation 90-degree about center 95. Draw the image in diagram 8. Okay, first thing first, you need to look at this. ABCD go to JKLH. It means this is object, this is image. But now they want you to draw the image of JKLH. Okay, and you need to draw rotation also. But this time it's a rotation about center 95. So I should go to 95 and draw across. Okay, or maybe I can just use this line to put across lah. So where is it? I forgot. 95 let's tengok balik. Yeah, 95 is the center. So let's put this line at 95. So, oops, 95. 9, 9, 9 is here. 5 is here. So maybe here. Yep, this is okay. And this one will be 9. Wait, where is it? 9, 5. Is it here? Yes, right? Okay. Betul ke saya buat 9, 5? This one is 9, 5. Yeah, correct. So this is my new center of rotation. And guess what? The direction is also macam tadi, anti-clockwise. Yeah. So I also anti-clockwise. But what is my object? JKLH. Because now it says one image of JKLH is drawn under transformation anti-clockwise rotation 90 about 795. Draw the image. Okay. So this second question, there is no working, right? We just draw the image in the diagram. So let's draw the image. Okay, how should we draw it? So JKLH is our object now. Okay, and we will rotate 90-degree. So if you rotate 90-degree in this direction, right, my image will be here. Okay, kalau 90-degree will be here, kalau 180 here, kalau 270 here, right? But they want 90-degree, so the answer is here. So how do we draw it? This HL line will be here, right? So let's draw it using black color. Okay, so this HL line will end up looking like this, right? And then what about this HJ line? It will be 4 unit, right? It will when you go up like that, okay, when you go up like that, it will end up being like this. Okay, because it's rotate up already, right? And then what about the point K? Okay, you can use this method. Point K, we will go to the center and then count from center to K, but always count horizontal first. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 horizontal, and then 1, 2. So horizontal 4, vertical 2. Terbalik kan? Horizontal 2, vertical 4. But this time you will go to the right and then go up. Horizontal 2, vertical 4. This is your new point. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm doing here, because I'm doing rotation 90. That's why you have to terbalikkan the kotak. And now you know this point. Now it's very easy to get your answer already. It will be like this. It will be like this. Okay, so this is your answer. All right. Do I have to label anything? No need, right? They just said image, something like that. Yeah, so I think I already draw it. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so this is good enough. Now we can continue. Okay. Uh, Wait, let me check one more time. Did I do it correctly? Yeah, betul. Okay, so okay, let's do number 3 now. Number 3 says EFGH is the image of ABCD under transformation W. Based on the answer in 12B2, describe in full transformation W. Okay, let's write down the arrow punya first. So siapa dekat belakang, siapa depan. So EFGH is image, means definitely this one have to write at the back. And then ABCD was the object lah. Okay, because EFGH is image, right? And this arrow is the W. So now I will have to describe transformation W, right? Okay, let's go to my diagram and look at and let's focus on ABCD and EFGH. So ABCD and EFGH. Okay, I think there are some lines that I can erase here because there's too many lines. It's confusing. So let's erase. Okay, ABCD and wait, what is EFGH? EFGH. EFGH is the image of EFGH. Which one is EFGH? ABCD is this one, but which one is EFGH? Is it the one I draw? Yeah, I think so, right? Because they say based on the answer in 12B2. So I think EFGH. Okay, but in number two, they never say also it's EFGH. All right, but I think we can all assume that the EFGH is definitely this. So I think we should actually label this, right? So I think it should be EFGH. So now I'm only focusing on this and this, right? So ABCD is my object and EFGH is my image. Okay, so I'm gonna erase this and write image here. Okay, because it's going from ABCD to EFGH, right? So object to image. So what do you think is this? Is this a translation, reflection, rotation, or enlargement? Definitely not enlargement because same size. Translation also no because the whole thing terbalik already. The 90 degree is originally here, atas sini, now it becomes down here already. So it's not translation. So it's either reflect or rotate. And whenever you are confused whether it's reflect, rotate, just use the method I show you just now. You just draw lines, right? If your lines look like this, where they are all parallel, then it's a reflection. And if your lines look like this, where all the lines intersect nicely here, then it's a rotation 180. And for this case, you don't need compass to find center because this intersection point is the center already. And for another case where it has intersection, but the intersection is like that one, like kind of messy. So it's a rotation 90, right? So let's start drawing lines. Okay, the first line I will draw is from A. Okay, but A will go to which one? Which one is the corresponding image for A? Okay, so A is here. I think it's E, right? Yeah, E is the corresponding point with A. Okay, so this is the A and E are corresponding. Okay, so I will just put it like this, right? So this is my first line. And what is my second line? My second line, okay, let's draw a new line here. D will go to H, maybe? Is it? One? Yeah, D will go to H. Okay, make sure you draw to the corresponding point. And then C will go to G, definitely. And then B will go to F, right? So as you can see, all these black color lines, they are all intersecting nicely at one special point. Can you see? It's not just two lines intersecting, it's all four lines intersecting. So definitely it's this case. It's a rotation 180 degree. So this is definitely a rotation 180 degree. It means if I draw a cross here, okay, it means this is rotation 180 and it means I can describe now lah. Transformation W is a rotation 180 degree, right? And for rotation, what you have to write, I already tell you, you have to write 90 ataupun 180, I sudah tulis. And you also have to write clockwise, anti-clockwise, and the center, right? And let me tell you, kalau 180 degree, dia punya clockwise, anti-clockwise tak penting pun. Because imagine okay, where's your center? First of all, where is the center of rotation? You don't need compass, right? Because if it's 180 degree, the center is automatic here already. So this is your center. So if you draw a cross here, you can see that rotate 180 clockwise and 180 and 180 clockwise and 180 anti-clockwise is the same thing, right? It means you can write clockwise pun boleh, anti-clockwise pun boleh, right? Because 180 is like that one. 180 you can write either one, clockwise and clockwise, because it's the same. So I just write mana-mana satu, and then don't forget to write the center lah. And the center you don't need the compass to find it because it's there already. When you garis all the lines, it's there already. This intersection point, that's the center, right? So let's write down the coordinate. So what's the coordinate? 7, 6, right? So let's erase all these lines. So 7, 6 is the center. Okay, so let's scroll up, about center 7, 6. Okay, sudah siap. Inilah jawapan dia. Alright, hope you understand my explanation. Let's continue. Okay, number 13 is a graph question. Yeah, you need graph paper for this, right? And this is under which chapter? Measures of dispersion, and it's a group data. Okay, because there is class here. When you see class, means it's a group data. Okay, let's read the question. Table 4 shows the marked distribution of 40 pupils from class 5 Regal in a mathematics exam in the year 2023. What is 40? Total pupil, it means total frequency. It means when you add all this, you will get 40. Now, A says, based on the data in table 4, calculate standard deviation. All right, let's talk about standard deviation punya formula. Is there any space I can use here? Let's use this space to explain standard deviation. Standard deviation formula, the symbol for standard deviation is like this, right? And the formula is square root sum of x square divide n minus mean square. Okay, this is the formula for standard deviation. But there's also another formula. Okay, it will be sum of fx square divide with sum of f minus mean square. Okay, it means there's two formula for standard deviation. The first formula is when you don't have frequency. Okay, you don't have frequency, then you use this formula when you don't have frequency. Okay, and then the second formula, you will use it when they have frequency. And let me tell you, when it's a group data, definitely it will have frequency one. So definitely for this question, we have to use yang bawah punya formula, right? But did you realize when you are finding standard deviation, you need to have the mean, right? This is the mean. So I will write down the mean formula for you also. What is the formula for mean? It will be the sum of x divided by n, right? But there is also another formula, sum of fx divide sum of f. Okay? Okay, why got two formula? Okay, yang atas punya formula you guna bila tak ada frequency. Yang bawah punya formula you guna bila ada frequency. And trust me, if it's a group data, definitely you use formula yang bawah because group data mesti akan ada frequency one. Okay? So now my job is to calculate the mean first. Okay? But sir, they ask you to find standard deviation. Okay, I know. Okay, if they want to find standard deviation, you need to have the mean first, right? Because if you don't have the mean, how are you supposed to find the standard deviation? Okay, so you have to find the mean first. Okay, what is the formula for mean? The formula I use will be the sum of what? The sum of frequency times x divided with sum of frequency. So I have to take frequency multiplied with x. Okay, we have marks, we have frequency. Which one do you think is the x? Which one do you think is the f? Of course, f is the 138, this one lah, this is the frequency, right? And x will be the data, which is the marks, right? So this is the x, right? So what we have to do is we have to take this value and then times together. But we have a problem here. This 11 until 25 is not one number. It consists of many numbers. There is 12, 13, 14, 15. So we actually have to choose a number to wakil this class. We have to choose one number to represent, and the number we choose will be midpoint. So remember, when we find mean for group data, we will always need to find the midpoint of the class to represent x. To represent x, right? So that's how we do it. So let's find the midpoint. How to find midpoint? 11 plus 25 divide 2. But you have to press bracket. 11 plus 25 in bracket and then divide 2. Okay, my calculator give me 18. All right, 18. And you have to keep going and find out all the midpoint of all this class. What is the midpoint for 26, 40? It will be 33. This one is 48. And then this one, the midpoint is 63. This one is 78. This one is 93. Okay, if you are wondering how I get all these numbers, it's just I just take this number and this number, I plus them together, and then I tekan equal and then divide 2. Because I'm trying to find the midpoint, the tengah punya point. That is why I tambah bagi 2. So this is how I get all the midpoint. Now I can find the mean. X times frequency, so 18 times 1, right? Plus with 33 times 3. Okay, so write it down. And then next one will be 48 times 8. Okay, and then plus 63 times 13. And then plus 78 times 9. Okay, why this one so ugly one? Okay, let me write one more time. This one 13. Okay, 78 times 9. Next one will be the last one, 93 times 6. And divide total frequency, 40. Okay, so now we will press calculator. We will get something over 40. And then we will get our final answer. Okay, let's press calculator. 18 plus 33 times 3 plus 48 times 8 plus 63 times 13 plus 78 times 9 plus 93 times 6. Okay, my calculator give me 2580. But it's not finished yet. You have to divide 40, right? Okay, my calculator give me 64.5. So that is the mean lah. So 64.5. But this is not the answer. They asked you to find standard deviation. So now we can use our standard deviation punya formula. And we will use this formula because yeah, it's a group data. Okay, so standard deviation symbol is like this, and then you put a square root. Okay, okay, let's draw it nicely. So it'll be like this. Okay, and then there will be a line here, and then minus with mean square, and the mean is 64.5. Right, let me explain what I'm doing. The formula for standard deviation is like this, right, where you have to take the sum of frequency times with x squared divide with the sum of frequency minus mean square. That is why I buat satu line yang panjang and then tolak dengan mean square. So this mean is this one lah, 64.5, right? But what I have to write here, I have to take the x squared times with frequency, right? Which means 18, which is the x, I have to square it first, then only multiply with frequency 1 like this. Okay, and then plus with repeat the process lah, 33 square times with 3 plus with 48 square times with 8, right? And then plus with 63 square times with 13 plus with 78 square times with 9 plus with 93 square times with 6. It means this square, you only square the x, the data, the x. The frequency tak payah square. Okay, if you square the frequency, salah. Okay, so if you look at this, did you realize this one and this one is the same thing? Is the same, right? Is the only difference is you have to put square at the 18, 33, 48, and so on, right? So remember the square, we don't put it at the frequency, okay? And then over the total frequency, which is 40 lah, right? So now I think I can press all this to get my final answer. Okay, if I am you, I will not straight away do the whole thing. I will get this value first. Alright, I will get yang atas punya value first, and then over 40 minus 64.5 square. And then the next thing only I will, the next thing, I mean, it means I will break it down into two baris lah. Okay, like that. Okay, and then now I will press this one first, right? So I will press everything here, from here to here. I'll press all this in my calculator. Okay, so let's press 18 square plus 33 square times 3 plus 48 square times 8 plus 63 square times 13 plus 78 square times 9 plus 93 square times 6. Okay, my calculator give me 180270, very big number. So I will write down all the numbers here. And now only I will press the whole thing. So I will tekan answer divide 40 and then answer minus 64.5 square and then square root answer. Okay, my calculator give me 18.6145. So you don't have to write so many, you just write 4 significant figures. So 18.61 is good enough. So this is the answer for standard deviation. All right, so they ask you to find standard deviation, 4 marks. So you get 4 marks for this. All right, okay, let's continue with B. B wants you to, B says what? For this part of question, use the graph paper provided on page 27. So let's see. Okay, they got provide a graph paper here, but I don't like this graph paper because you can barely see the how to say, the lines here, right? It's like very blur. So I will not be using this graph paper. I'll use another graph paper later. Okay, but let's read what they want first. So they want you to use a scale of 2 cm to 15 marks on the horizontal axis, which is the x-axis, and then 2 cm to 5 people on the vertical, which is the y-axis. Draw an ogive. Okay, you need to memorize. Okay, for ogive, you need to hafal what you need for the x-axis and the y-axis, right? Okay, okay, let's erase this first because I need space. Okay, what are all the possible graph that can come out in this chapter? It's either they ask you draw ogive, or they can ask you to draw what? Histogram or frequency polygon, right? And kalau dia suruh lukis histogram, you have to use boundary and frequency, right? But if they ask you to do frequency polygon, then you will use midpoint on your x-axis, frequency on your y-axis. But if they ask you to draw ogive, you have to use what? You have to memorize this. For ogive, your x-axis has to be upper boundary, and then your y-axis has to be cumulative frequency. Okay, but when you draw your ogive, you have to make sure the starting is 0, or else your ogive will, how to say, like it's like floating, right? So what we have to do is we have to tambah satu class. Okay, we have to tambah satu class before the first class, right? So that my first point will be 0, right? So what I can do now is first thing first is find out all the upper boundary and cumulative frequency lah. So I will open a new column here. I will use red color. I will just write upper boundary here, right? And also I will open a new column here for cumulative frequency. Okay, I'll just call it CF. Okay, so let's write down all the upper boundaries here. So the upper boundaries will be what? It will be, okay lah. Let's just draw a new table lah. Let's just draw a new table. Yeah, let's just draw a new table. We don't have to susahkan, right? Just draw a new table. So I will just write. uh, Okay, I'll just do it like this. Okay, like this. But I will make it like besar sikit compared to the original one. Can you see? I make it higher a bit because I know later I have to tambah satu class, right? So it will be, okay. It will be. I think it will be okay. Wait. Let me make it nice. Okay, like that. And then it will be like this, right? And then this one will be like this, like this, like this, like this, and then like this. Okay, why this line so sengit one? Okay, this one like this. Okay, something like this. And then I need the upper boundary and cumulative, right? So yeah, this will be my upper boundary. This is my cumulative. Okay. Okay, how to find upper boundary for 1125? Upper boundary means you will take the big number 25 plus with the next number and then divide by 2. So you get 25.5. Next one, upper boundary is 40 plus 41 divided to 40.5, and then keep going, 55.5, 70.5, 85.5, 100 plus next number is 101. Okay, if you press 100 plus 101 equal and then divide 2, you will get 100.5. Okay, then what about cumulative? Cumulative frequency is, you have to find it by adding all the frequency. So if the first frequency is 1, the first cumulative is 1. The next one you have to plus with the next frequency. So 1 plus 3, you get 4, and then you just keep adding, right? So the next one will be 4 plus 8, 12, and then keep adding, 12 plus 13, 25, 25 plus 9, 34, keep adding, 34 plus 6, 40, right? But why is there an extra column here? Because I need to tambah satu class. I already tell you why. For cumulative frequency, you have to tambah satu class, right? But for frequency polygon, you also have to tambah. But for frequency polygon, you have to tambah satu depan, satu belakang, right? And then kalau histogram, tak payah tambah. Okay. Okay, let's come back here. What is the first, what is the class I need to tambah? All right. If you look here, the class is 11 to 25, right? So what is the number before 11? It will be 10, right? It will be 10, right? And you can see here, all the numbers here, plus 15, plus 15, plus 15, plus 15, plus 15. Can you see it? If you press 40 minus 25, you will get 15. So to get 10, I have to take 25 minus 15 also, right? So what is the number here then? 11 minus 15 lah. But 11, 15, minus 15 is like a negative number, right? But it's okay because I don't want the class also. I don't need the class. What I want is the upper boundary. So what I do is I'll just take 25.5 minus 15, right? Okay, let's see what I get. My calculator give me 10.5. So that would be the first upper boundary. Okay. And you can see memang semua tambah 15, right? So that is why when you want to find the upper boundary of the first class, you just have to know the difference here, right? So the difference here is 15, right? So how to get the atas punya 25.5 minus 15. Okay. Okay, what about the cumulative? Okay, the cumulative frequency would be 0 because this class saya tambah sendiri punya. So this class doesn't exist. So I add it myself. So definitely the frequency will be 0 and the cumulative will be 0, right? So now I just have to look at this, use this table and draw my ogive, right? So they already said the scale they want me to use is 2 cm to 15 marks on horizontal axis. Okay, this let me tell you a common mistake. This is a common mistake where student make. They will look at this 2 cm to 15 horizontal and straight away they go here and they go and write 0, 15, 30, 45. Ah, ini memang salah. Ini memang salah. I teach in class. Whenever I teach this in class, in my class, I always remind my students. I said you cannot do it like that. It's because when you are drawing ogive, you are using upper boundary as your x-axis. It means you cannot plus 15 dulu. You have to follow the first upper boundary, which is 10.5 dulu. Then only you can plus 15. Then only you plus 15. Like that, right? It means the first value you write here will be 10.5 first, not 15. Then only you plus 15 become 25.5 and so on, right? Okay, let's actually do it in the actual graph. Okay, I'll use another graph paper, okay, because I don't like the graph paper in the Selangor paper. So I'll just use this paper. Okay, so let's label it. So it will be 0, 10.5, and then the next one is 25.5 because plus 15, right? And then plus 15, 40.5, plus 15, 55.5. Okay, and then 70.5, and then 85.5 because plus 15, and then the last one is 100.5. Okay, and don't forget this bar race is you use the upper boundary, right? Okay, let's go back to the table and double check 10.5 until 100.5. So yeah, you can see it, right? 10.5 and then keeps plus 15 until 100.5, right? Okay, even though we are using upper boundary for our x-axis, we cannot write upper boundary there. We have to write marks. Yeah, we have to write marks. So let's write marks. Okay, so here we will write marks. And if you don't have enough space, you can write down here also. Okay, if you want to write down here, can also. Okay, now we can now it's the time to draw the y-axis. Okay, for the y-axis, they also got give us a scale here. The scale here is 2 cm to 5 on vertical. Okay, the vertical axis, y-axis will be the cumulative, right? This one you can straight away go 2 cm to 5. Yeah. So 2 cm to 5, straight away go 2 cm to 5, but the highest is 40, right? So make sure you go until 40. So this will be 5, this will be 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And this one is the cumulative frequency. It means for here I have to write cumulate. Okay, let's write nicely. Cumulative frequency, right? And let's not forget to draw the axis using ruler. So let's draw it. Okay, so it will look like this. Okay, let's make it nice and straight. Use your ruler lah, make sure you bring the ruler. Okay, so this is how you do it. Okay, wait. Okay, like that. Yeah, good enough. So now we can start to actually plot the points and draw our ogive. So let's go to the table and refer to our first point. So when we draw the ogive, we're only focusing on the upper boundary and the cumulative. So the first one is 10.50. So I will go to the graph. Okay, and then 10.50. So where is it? Here, 10.50. Okay, next one, I will go to the table again. Next one is 25.51. Right? So where is 1? Okay, 25.5 is here. Where is 1? 1 is you have to naik 2 kotak. Naik 2 kotak kecil. Why is it 2 kotak kecil? It's because from here to here you have to plus 5, right? But there is 10 kotak kecil. So one small box actually is 5 divide 10, which is 0.5. So whenever you naik satu is 0.5, but I want 1. So that's why it's naik 2 kotak lah, right? So to get 1, you have to naik 2, right? Okay, next one. 40.54. So where is it? 40.5 is here. 4 is, okay, where is 4? Okay, 5 is here. 5, if I turun satu, I have to minus 0.5, which is 4.5. So I turun lagi satu lah. Then I get 4 already. So this one is this is the location of the point. Okay, let's continue. Next one, what is it? 55.5, 12. So let's go. 55.5 is here, right? 12 is just 10. Okay, 10, if I go up 1, if 10.5, go up 11, go up 11.5, go up 12. It means in total, I have to go up 4. I have to go up 4 kotak kecil. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's 12, right? Okay, so 55.5, 12. Okay, let's continue. After this is 70.5, 25. 70.5, 25. Let's go. 70.5 is here. 25 is here. So like that. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Let's see what they want. 85.5, 34. So let's go. 85.5 is here. 34 is just 35. Go down 1 is 34.5. Go down lagi satu baru 34. So it means I have to go down 2 small box. Okay, dua kotak kecil. So this is 34. Okay, 85.5, 34. Okay, I think it's the last point now. 100.5, 40. So yeah, this is easy. 100.5, 40 is here, here. So this is the last point. Okay, now we can draw our ogive and make sure you draw using freehand. Okay, actually you can draw using the flexible ruler, but I never teach using that method. I always teach using freehand. So let's draw using freehand. So, okay, I will draw this part first. So, okay, freehand, yeah, okay. Okay, I think this part is good enough. Okay, let's draw this part. Okay, okay. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, okay, something like that. And then just connect them together. Okay, this part is not very nice. So we erase and draw one more time. So it should be smooth, right? So we try to make it smooth. Okay, smooth. Okay. Just make it look natural lah. Just make it look natural. So this curve, okay. Okay, this one is like that. Then go up slowly and then forms another curve here. Okay, I think it's good enough. And make sure when you erase nicely. So yeah. Okay, one more time. Okay, yeah. So this is I don't like this part. Okay, so let's do it one more time. Okay, why is it not straight? Let's make it straight. It's straight. Oops. Okay, I'm just gonna redraw the whole thing. So straight, 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 straight. Okay lah, I think it's good enough already. Okay. Okay. Yep. Yeah, this is good. Okay lah, can already lah. Okay. Yeah, I think it looks nice already. So this is my ogive. And whenever I teach in my class, I always say after you've done drawing, always check for these two things, right? You have to check for these two things. What are the two things you have to check? First is the tajuk, the title. And second thing is the x-axis, right? So the first thing is the tajuk. What will be the tajuk? This is called a ogive. So you should write ogive and make sure you underline it. Okay, this is the title, right? And another thing is you check your x-axis. Okay, why you have to check your x-axis? Because sometimes you never follow the scale given, right? You actually skip a number. Can you see here to here plus 15, plus 15, everything plus 15. But here you plus 10.5, right? So sini sahaja yang cacat. So kalau sini sahaja yang cacat, apa awak kena buat? You have to draw this symbol. Do you remember? The symbol looks like this, like this, like this, like this, right? So this, so make sure you got letak yang ni lah. Okay, so this is how you get full mark for ogive. Yep. Now we can continue lah. So how many marks? 4 plus 5, 9 marks for this, right? So that's how you get full mark. Okay, now we can continue with the next question, which is 14. It's another it's also a graph question. Okay, so we'll be using another graph paper. Let's read the question. 14a, complete table 5 in the answer space for this equation by writing the values of y when x negative 1.5, x equals to 2. So what you do here is, all right, if you want to get the value for this, you just substitute negative 1.5 inside here. So it will be y equals 3x squared plus 7 over 2x minus 3. Oh, by the way, what chapter is this? Do you know? This chapter is called graph of function. Okay, you never learn this in form 4, form 5. You learn it in lower form. Yeah, I think it's form 2 if I'm not mistaken. You learn it in form 2. This one. Okay, so what you have to substitute in your x, negative 1.5, negative 1.5, and you can press calculator. Okay, let's press 3 bracket negative 1.5 close bracket square plus 7 over 2 bracket negative 1.5 close bracket plus minus 3. Okay, my calculator give me negative 1.5. So I'll just write negative 1.5 here. Then I get 1 mark. Then what about this one, 2? You do the same thing, but this time you substitute 2. Okay. All right, these 2 and these 2 can cut. So you just left with 7 minus 3, which is 4. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 7, 19. 19 minus 3 is 16. So you will write 16. Okay, so this is your A. This is how you get full mark for A. Okay, I think you can erase this also. This one useless. Okay, you don't have to show them. Okay, sudah siap soalan A. Sekarang we can do soalan B. Okay, B wants you to, for this part of question, use the graph paper provided on page 29. You can use a flexible ruler. I will not do that. I will just use freehand. Okay. Using a scale of 2 cm to 1 unit on x-axis, 2 cm to 5 unit on y-axis, draw the graph for this equation for this range. Okay, I will not be using the graph paper given because it's like you cannot see the lines clearly, right? So it's like very blur. So I don't want to use this. I will use another graph paper. So I'm just gonna go to my graph. Okay, I'll use this graph paper. Okay, so this line is much more clear, right? Okay, but let's look at the scale first. 2 cm to 1 on x-axis, 2 cm to 5 unit on y-axis. But look at your table. There is a negative value. There's negative value, right? So if there's negative value, you have to be careful, right? So imagine this is your graph paper, right? Where you should draw your y-axis. Okay, I always teach my student like this. When you want to draw your y-axis, look at your x value, right? So look at your x value. The smallest is negative 4, the highest is 3, right? So it means your y-axis, you cannot draw here, right? Because if you draw here, there will be no space for you to put the x to plot the negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So that is why my tips is when you draw the y-axis, look at your x value, right? So if your x value punya negative and positive lebih kurang sama, you have to draw it in the middle, okay? Because if you put it here, not enough space. And make sure there is 3 kotak here and there is 4 kotak here, and make sure there is enough space here and here so that you can go 1, 2, 3 and then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Okay, so let's go to our graph paper and draw our y-axis. So let's make sure got 4 on the left, 3 on the right. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, and then if I draw my y-axis here, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, enough space, right? So I'm going to erase this and draw the real axis here. Okay, so this is my y-axis. Okay, and now it's time to label my y-axis with numbers. So the y value, highest value is what in your y? Is 31, right? No, it's 34.5. And then the smallest value is negative 3, right? So, and then the scale they want you to use for y-axis is 2 cm to 5. So I will go, it means if I go 5, 10, 15, 15, 20, 25, I will go until 35 lah. Because the highest is 34.5. So the highest here must be 35, right? So I'll just label this 35, which is this one, and then this one will be 30, and then 25, 20, and then 15, 10, 5, 0, and this is where I write the 1, 2, 3 lah. This is where I write the 1, 2, 3, and then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Okay, everything will have enough space one because I already consider everything before I put the y-axis, and this will be negative 5. Okay, and it's enough space because the smallest value is negative 3 just now. So yeah, this is very good. Okay, so now it's just draw the axis. Okay, okay, let's draw it nice. Okay, like that. And then for the x-axis also draw a line. Okay, and of course you have to write arrow and then x here, right? It's an arrow y. Okay, now we can plot our points, right? So let's look at our first point. What is it? The first point, they want me to plot negative 431. Let's go. Negative 431. Negative 431. Negative 4 is here. 31 is just 30. naik two small box. Okay, why naik two? Because one small box is 0.5. How I know one small box is 0.5? Because here to here plus 5 ma, right? So one quota is 5 divide 10 lah, which is 0.5, right? So I hope you understand why I naik two small box. Okay, so this is the first point. Next point, let's go to the table. Negative 3, 13.5. Let's plot together. Negative 3 is here. 13.5 is where? Okay, 15 is here. What is 15 turun 1? 14.5. 14.5 turun 1, 14. 14 turun lagi 1, 13.5. So this is, where is it? This is the 13.5. It means I have to 15, I have to turun 3. I have to turun 3 small box exactly. Okay? And make sure the x coordinate is negative 3. Okay? All right. Next point. Negative 2, 2. Negative 2, 2. Let's go. Negative 2, 2. Negative 2, 2. Where is 2? Okay, if you naik satu kota is 0.5, so you should naik 2, which is 1, naik lagi 2 lah. Right? So it means in total you have to naik 4 small box. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. Because naik 2 small box is 1. So naik lagi 2 small box is 2. Okay. All right. Now let's look at the next point. Negative 1.5, negative 1.5. Okay, where is it? Negative 1.5 is here. Okay, in the middle. And then where is negative 1.5? You have to turun 3. You have to turun 3 small box. All right. For those who's asking, sir, why turun 3 small box? Because turun 1 is negative 0.5. Turun lagi 1 is negative 1. So turun lagi 1 is negative 1.5. Okay. Yeah. Hope you understand. Satu kotak kecil here is 0.5. Okay. Next point is 0, negative 3. Let's go. Let's plot it. 0 is here. Negative 3 is just negative 5. Naik 4 small box. Okay. Okay, how come I know it's 9 small box, 4 small box? Because when you naik 2, is a negative 4. So naik lagi 2 is negative 3. So I actually plot wrong. It's not here. It has to naik lagi. So it's actually here. Yeah. Okay. So negative 5, naik, negative 4.5, negative 4, negative 3.5, negative 3. Okay. So 0, negative 3 is here. Okay. Next point. 0.5, negative 0.5. Let's go. 0.5, negative 0.5. 0.5 is in between here. Negative 0.5 is just to run one small box. Just one small box. Okay. So this is negative 0.5. Sorry, 0.5, negative 0.5. Okay. 0.5, negative 0.5. 0.5. Yeah. And then 1, 3.5. Okay, let's go. Where is 1, 3.5? 1 is here. 3.5 is just 5. Turun 3. Yeah, turun 3 small box. Why is it turun 3? Because when 5 turun 1 is 4.5. Turun lagi 1, 4. So turun lagi 1 is 3.5 lah. Okay, so in total 5 have turun 3. Let me plot nicely. I think it's here. 3.5, 4, 4.5. Yeah, correct. Let's go to the next point. 216. Okay, 216. So 2 is here, 16 is 15, naik 2 lah. Because 15 naik 1 is 15.5, so naik lagi 1, 16. Right? Okay, finally, we are at the last point. 334.5. Let's go. 3 is here. Yep, 3 is here. 34.5 is just 35 turun 1 saja lah. Because when you take 35 minus 0.5, you get 34.5. Okay. So yeah, now you can use freehand to draw your curve. So it will look like a quadratic punya curve, like a parabola shape. So, okay, let's determine our turning point first. Okay, I think I can make this the turning point. Because if I make this the turning point, it will end up looking very ugly one. So try to assume our turning point somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here. So like I will just connect them together. Okay, this is, make sure it touches all points. So like that. Okay. Okay, 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 okay. One more time. So like this. Oops, 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 oops. Okay. It's so hard to draw using laptop. Okay, I'll try my best. Oh yo, this one lagi terus. Okay, wait. Okay, my hand is shaking. Wait, Oops. So it will be like this. Yeah. Okay, the rest, I'll just connect them together. Okay, then connect nicely. Just make sure your graph it looks natural and it's smooth. Okay, it's a smooth curve. Okay. Okay, this one, let me fix this. Okay. Yep. Just erase. Oh, let me try one more time. Okay, nice. Okay, this one. Let's go. Okay. Yeah, but it doesn't touch the point, so I have to go again. This, right? Okay, this one is a bit like cacat sikit. So, okay, yeah. Last one is just from here, tarik to here. Okay. Okay, this one a bit cacat. Okay lah, I think good enough already, right? Okay, yeah, I think this is good enough. So now I have to, okay, let's complete the thing first. All right. I don't like it. I don't like how it looks. So I want to do again. I'm a perfectionist. So, okay, like this. Okay lah. I think this is good enough already. Okay, let's write down the equation. Oh, remember when we are doing this chapter, after we draw graph, we have to write the equation of the graph. So I forget the equation. Let's go and think about it. Y equals 3x squared plus 7 over 2x minus 3. So let's write down y equals 3 3x squared plus 7 over 2x minus 3, right? So that should be the equation of the curve 3x squared plus 7 over 2x minus 3. Okay, I already finished the drawing part. Now let's see what else the question want me to find. So let's go back to the one. Okay, so this is worth 4 marks. Now we do part C. Okay, part C says, based on the graph in 14b, find values of x when y equals to 24. So what I do, when y equals 24, I have to find the value of x and then write here and here. Okay, so let's go to our graph and go to the y-axis, cari 24. Let's go. This is the graph. Go to the y-axis, cari 24. So where is the y-axis? This one, right? And then where is 24? It's 25 turun 2 kotak, which is here, right? And what I do is I will draw a dotted line. Okay, use ruler. Okay, draw a dotted line. And then the moment it touch the graph, you will put a dot and then tarik bawah, right? And when you tarik bawah, and when you reach the x-axis, that's the answer. Okay, so this is one of your answer. Okay, but there's another answer because can you see you can also tarik to the left, right? And you will also have another intersection. So let's tarik here also. It means there's two answer lah. Okay, so tarik, tarik, tarik. Okay, and the moment you reach the intersection, what you do is put a dot, right? But can you see the intersection is kind of weird, right? It's like somewhere in the middle. So what I can do is I can put a dot. Okay, and after I put a dot, I can just assume then it's like easy to baca already because the dot covers the empty space already. So yeah, this wait, 1, 2. Okay, it's this one, right? Okay. It's harder for me because I'm using like laptop, right? So for you, you have to use ruler. So this is your answer. Okay. Now we can write down our answer. Okay, what is our first answer? First answer, negative 3.5, 3.6, 3.7. So the first answer is negative 3.7, and then my other answer is 2.5. So 2.5, negative 3.7. Let's write it here. So negative 3.7, and then 2.5. Okay. Okay, for some students, you might not get the same exact answer as me, right? Because everyone draw it differently, right? Because this one you draw it using freehand. So it's okay if you have if it's okay if your answer is not exactly the same as me. Just make sure it's near to my answer, right? Like for example, your one might be 2.4. Then you write 2.4 lah. Okay. And believe me, for the schema jawapan, they will put a range one, right? They will give you a range. And if your answer is within that range, then it's considered correct already. So you don't have to worry about what if the answer is not exactly the same as schema. Don't have to worry about that. Okay. If your answer is near to the schema, then yeah, it's considered correct. Okay. So, but anyways, this is my answer lah. Okay, number 2, find value of y when x equals to negative 0.5. So let's go to the graph and then go to x-axis, cari negative 0.5. So x negative 0.5. Mana? X negative 0.5. I think it's here, right? Yeah, here. Okay, please don't go and put your dotted line ke atas. There's no graph here. If you go atas, you will not have any intersection with the curve. So don't do that. Okay, don't tarik atas. You have to tarik bawah actually, right? So when you tarik bawah, the moment you sentuh the graph, that's when you have to tarik ke y-axis, right? So put a dot first, cover the empty space, and then put an arrow here. So this is your answer. So what is this? Negative 5. If I naik 1, naik 2, naik 3. I think this is negative 3.5. Because negative 5 naik 1 is negative 4.5. Naik lagi negative 4. Naik lagi is negative 3.5. So that's my answer. But you might get a different answer, right? Because some of you, maybe you get negative 4. Then you write negative 4 lah. Okay, it's okay one. Okay, it's okay if your answer is not exactly the same. Just make sure it's near to my answer. Okay, and remember the schema will always give you a range, right? They will terima multiple answers within the range. So if your answer is within the range, then it's considered correct. Okay, how many marks? 2, 4, 3, 9 marks in total, right? So this is how you get full marks. Finish already, right? Okay, let's continue with number 15. Okay, is this the last question? No. Okay, that's section C, yeah? All right, let's go to 15. Okay, let's read the question first. You are not allowed to use graph paper to answer this question, okay? Adam needs to complete an assignment involving wooden blocks at his school, okay? Nothing important. Diagram 9A shows a wooden block prism, okay, this one, with a rectangular base PQVW. Yeah, this is the base, 7 cm, 6 cm. PQRS is the cross section. So this trapezium is the cross section of the prism. Okay, given that PQ ratio SR is 3:2, it means PQ over SR equals 3/2. And we already have the PQ length, which is 6. So we can erase this and write 6. So can I find SR panjang? Yes. I will just cross multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times SR I write here. And then now I can find my SR is 12 divided 3, which is 4. So my SR is 4. Okay. And then it says length of PS is twice the length of SR. PS length is twice SR. Means this is 8 lah. Because 4 times 2, right? So this must be 8 also. Okay. And this is 7. This is 4 also. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So far this is what I have. Now they says draw to full scale the plan of the wooden block. What does it mean by plan? Plan means you have to draw from the top view. Yeah, you are drawing the top view. Okay, means you tengok dari atas. So when you tengok dari atas, apa you nampak? You will nampak this surface, right? But there's actually another surface. This surface also you can see it. Because if you look carefully, this is 6 cm, this is 4 cm. It means what you will nampak is a shape that looks like this. You have a line like this, like this, like this, like this, right? But there is a one line that is separating it like this. Okay, do you understand? Because uh because of this plane, right? Okay, so let's try to, but of course when you draw this in your exam, you have to measure it exactly the length. So uh this will be 4 cm. Okay, 4 cm, and then this will be 7 cm, and then this will be 4 cm, and then this will be 7 cm also, right? But then this plane is for this, right? So what would be the length? What would be the horizontal length is here? It will be 2 cm. Okay, do you know why? Because the whole thing here is 6 cm, right? It means whenever you tengok dari atas, this line and this line, it will just nampak macam satu straight yang 6 cm. That's why this is 2 cm. Okay, and 4 cm is for this block, right? Another plane is 2 cm. Okay, and then this is 7 cm also. Okay, so this is how you do it. But make sure in exam you really measure it, and it's exactly 4 cm, because they want you to draw to full scale. Draw to full scale means it has to be exactly 4 cm, 2 cm, right? I cannot do it here. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you like a demonstration punya lah. And also try to make sure it's 90 degree. Yeah, 90 degree. If you draw if your answer look like this, like sengit punya, then they will not give you marks one. Make sure it's 90 degree. And the last thing is to label lah. All right, what is the labeling in this one? This is actually the T, right? But you can see that the W, when you tengok dari atas, W is the point behind T. So you have to label the W also, right? So T/W. Then what about this point? It will be U only, right? And there's no points behind you. When you tengok dari atas, tak ada point yang behind you, right? Then this point will be, wait, let me think. This point will be V, yeah, this point will be V. Because when you tengok dari atas, you will straight away tengok V here actually. And this will be Q, okay? And then what about here? Here will be R, yeah. And then this one will be S. When you tengok dari atas, it will be S. But there is one point behind the S, which is P. Yeah, so I think I labeled everything correctly. So this is how you get 3 marks, okay? And one more time, I remind you, make sure you really use ruler to measure exactly 7 cm, 4 cm, 2 cm. All these length have to be exactly the same, okay? And also it has to be 90 degree, everything, okay? Okay, time to do B. While completing the task, Adam received another half cylinder of wooden block that needed to be joined as shown in diagram 9B. So it's a half cylinder, okay? Now it says the height of the half cylinder is equal to the length of SR. Okay, let's transfer the length inside there. So 474,876. 474,876. 474,876. So this should be 7 as well. This should be 7. But here is 8. But since they say height of half cylinder, which is this one, height is equal to the SR. It means SR is 4. So this must be 4 also lah, because they are equal. And the whole panjang is 8. So what is 8 minus 4? 4 lah. So this will be 4. This will be 4 also. Okay. It means the radius of the cylinder is 3.5. Yeah, because the diameter is 7. The diameter of the circle is 7. So the radius is 3.5, right? Okay, let's see what they want now. Draw to full scale the elevation of composite wooden block received on the vertical plane parallel to PQ as built from X. Okay, ini semua tak penting, just tengok from X. Okay, so tengok dari X, apa you nampak? You will nampak this surface and you will nampak this surface, right? But when you tengok, you will just, for this surface, when you tengok dari X, you will just get a rectangle. Yeah, you will just get a rectangle that look like this. Okay, let me draw it. You will just get a rectangle that look like this. Okay, let me kecilkan. So you will just get a rectangle. You will just get a rectangle like that. Yeah. You know why? Because when you tengok dari sini, you cannot see the curve because these lines this line will just look like a straight line. Yeah, because when you tengok dari X, that's how it will end up looking. Okay. And one more thing is you have to make sure when you draw this, you have to make sure the measurement all has to be like exactly the same lah. All right. So okay. Let's make it like this. Okay, let's write down the measurements. So this line will be the panjang here, right? But what is the panjang here? It will be from this. It will be the radius lah. Yeah, because this is the center, right? So the panjang here will be the exactly panjang here, which is the radius, and the radius is 3.5. I already explained to you why is it 3.5, because the diameter is 7, right? The whole thing 7. So when you divide by 2, you will get radius 3.5. So here 3.5, here 3.5. So here should be 3.5 also, because here is also radius. And then the height of the cylinder is 4, and this is 3.5. So this is the surface that you will see, right? But there's another surface that you will see, which is this trapezium, right? And what about the trapezium at the back? Okay, you cannot see the trapezium at the back because it will be covered by this, right? Because this trapezium will cover all this, right? So you will only see this surface. So now we have to draw this surface lah. So what I have to do? Okay, let's use red color since I already used red color just now. So this one I have to tambah lagi 4 cm ke atas, right? So something like that. Okay, and make sure the height is really 4 cm. Use your ruler lah. Use your ruler to draw it. And then you have to draw horizontal 4 cm and make sure it's 90 degree. Yeah, 4 cm. And then down here will be 6 cm, right? So let's draw a 6 cm line like that. Okay. Make sure you measure it. Measure it. I didn't measure it, but you have to measure it. Okay. And then just join these 2 points, and then you will get this. And I recommend you draw this point last. Last kali baru you draw this line. Because it's like a sengit punya line, right? So I don't recommend you to draw it at first. You draw it last lah. Okay, now it's time to label. This one is 4 cm also, right? So 4 cm. This one also. Okay, wait. Where's my, let's erase this. Oops. Okay, yeah. So this one 4 cm. This one also 4 cm, 3.5 cm, 4 cm, 3.5 cm, 6 cm. And also we have to label all the bucu. All the bucu means all the vertex. Okay, I'm just checking whether I got labeled nicely or not. The last question. Okay, now we have to label the bucu. So what do you think will be this corner? It will be this one, right? S. But if you look closely, there is a point behind ST, which is T, so ST lah. And then this one will be RU, okay? And then this one will be QV, because V is behind Q. And then PW, so PW, P slash W. And then this one is Y, and then Z is behind it, so Y slash Z. And then this one is just A, I think. Yeah, just A, yeah. And then this one is just B. Okay, did I label everything correctly? Let's check. Yeah, I think I did everything correctly. So, yep, this is how you do it. Hope you understand. This is how you get 4 marks. And I repeat one more time, make sure you really measure it. Okay. I didn't measure it because I can't do it. Okay. I cannot use my, it will take a lot of time if I do it. Okay. So when you do it, make sure you really make sure it's 6 cm, 4 cm, 3.5 cm, and so on. Okay. For my last question, number 2. To beautify the composite block, Adam painted the half cylinder in red color. Okay, it's way too big already. So painted the half cylinder in red color. By using pi 22/7, calculate area of the colored surface. Okay, let's look at the half cylinder. How is it? How does it look like? Oh, it look like this. So it means it's like that, it's like that, it's like that, it's like this. Wait, how it looks like? Okay. So the down part is like this, and then like this. All right. So this is how the half cylinder looks like, right? But actually, the full cylinder looks like this, right? The full cylinder looks like this. This is a full cylinder, right? But it's only a half cylinder now, right? And now they are asking you to find the area of colored surface. So if you want to paint, he will paint this surface, he will paint this surface, and this surface, and that's all, right? Will I paint this surface? Let me ask you, will he paint this surface? Actually, no. Because if you look closely, this surface uh is like, how to say, it's not outside, it's inside, right? So we will not paint that surface because your brush cannot reach there. Okay, it's already pressed against this other block. So if I'm only painting this surface, and this curved surface, not the rectangle. This rectangle you can't paint it because it's already covered, it's already inside. So we are finding outside lah. Okay, so let's find the area of this surface plus with this surface plus with this surface. Okay, let's talk about it means we have to use the total surface area punya formula lah. Okay, how to find the total surface area of cylinder? Okay, cylinder, when you open it up, it will look like this, right? Which is 2 pi r square plus pi rh. This formula, I think it's given in the exam. I'm not sure. Let's check. So is it given in the formula? Let's see. Total surface area. Yeah, it's given. It's here, right? 2 pi r square plus 2 pi rh. So yeah, it's given. Okay. Okay, so make sure you know that you have to use this formula. Okay, why the formula is like that? Why the formula is 2 pi r square, 2 pi r is because when you open up the cylinder, you get two circles. The area for one circle is pi r square. So that's why it's 2 pi r square, because there's two circles. And then this one is 2 pi rh, I forgot. And then to get the area of this rectangle is just base times height, right? And how to get the base? Okay, the length here will be the same with the circumference of the circle, which is 2 pi r. And then this will be the height of cylinder. Okay, so that's why the formula is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. Okay, but of course you don't have to understand this also lah. Okay, you just have to memorize the formula. Okay, now let's use this formula. But it's a half cylinder. So how? It's a half cylinder. So instead of finding 2 pi r square, I am finding what? I'm actually finding pi r square, right? Because imagine if I open up the cylinder, it looks like this, right? But now I'm finding half. So it means I'm finding half, I'm finding half, I'm finding half. So when because the total surface area is 2 pi r square for 2 circle. So now instead of two circle, it's just one circle only. It's just because this one is half, half. So it's just pi r square only. And then plus with this one, it will not be 2 pi rh anymore. It will just be pi rh. Do you understand? Because the formula for this is base times height, but the base is no longer 2 pi r. It will be 2 pi r divided by 2 because the base is already reduced to half. Okay? And then the height is h. So this is the formula that I will use to find the area. Okay, I think I have to erase this. Need more space. So yang atas is the total surface area for cylinder. Okay, but now I'm using this formula to find total surface area for half cylinder, right? So I'll just write uh total. Okay, uh I'll just write area of colored surface lah. Okay, area of colored surface. Okay, actually you can also write surface area of half cylinder can also. Okay, pi they say use 2207. So let's follow 2207 times with r square. What is the radius of cylinder? 3.5 square. Okay, and then plus with pi, which is 2207, and then times radius times height. Okay, let's go and refer the cylinder. What is the radius and the height? Radius is 3.5 because it's 7 divided 2. Height is 4. So 3.5 and then 4. Okay. Okay, this is how you calculate. Let's tekan calculator. 22 times 2.5 square divide 7. 77 over 2, 38.5. And then the next one is 22 divided 7 times 3.5 times 4. Okay, my calculator give me 44. And when you add them, you will get 82.5. cm square, right? Yeah, in cm square, so cm square. Okay, that's all. Hope you understand. Okay, now we will enter section C. Section C, it says this section has 2 questions, answer only 1 question. But I will do both. Yeah, I will do both questions. Okay, because I'm doing this video for revision purpose, so I will do 2 questions. But in exam, you only choose one. Don't waste your time and do 2 questions because you only get one. How to say? Because 1 question is worth 15 marks. So even if you do 2 questions, you will get 15 marks only, right? So yeah, don't do that. Just choose one to do. Okay, 16. Inche Emir as her shop selling various type of hipster coffee. On a particular weekend, he took part in Pesta Hebo for 2 days. So this Pesta lasts for 2 days. He sold his hipster coffee in 2 different packages. Table 6 shows information about package. So you have economy package and premium package. Economy package will give you 2 latte and 2 cappuccino. Premium will give you 2 butterscotch and 2 macadamia. And then the price per package is RMK, RML. It means they don't want to give you the K and L. They don't want to tell you the price per package. And I'm sure they will ask you to find this later, right? Okay, so far I think nothing important. Let's read here. On the first day, he sold 35 of economy's package and 45 of premium's package with a total sale of 890 ringgit. It means on the first day, he earned 890, right? And 890 is actually the total sale, right? But we know price of one economy is K. So if 35, it will be 35K lah, the price. And then plus with 45, which premium package, but one premium package is L ringgit. So it will be 35K plus 45L equals 890. So this is my first equation. What about second day? Second day, the number of economy package sold was double compared to the first day. So if the economy package in the first day is 35, on the second day it will be 35 times 2 lah. And this is how you get the number of package for the second day. But if I want to find the price, I will times with K, right? And then plus with premium package sold with 2 over 3 compared to first day. 2 over 3 compared to first day. So 2 over 3 times 45 to get the number of premium package on second day, and then multiply with L to get the price. to get the total sale. And they should give me the total sale for second day. His total sale during the Pesta Hebo were 1950. Okay, can I write 1950 here? Cannot. This is not 1950, it's 195 because 1950 is for the total sales for 2 days, right? So to get the second day, I actually have to take 1950 minus 890. Then only I get the sale on the second day only. And then it says by using matrix method, calculate the package price K and L. It means I want to find K and L lah. So actually it's very easy because I have my two equation already. 35 times 2 is 70K. 203 times 2 is 30L. 1950 minus 890, you can use calculator. 1060. Okay, so this is your two equation. So equation 1, equation 2. Okay, let's rewrite this equation one more time. 35K plus 45L equals 890. 70K plus 30L equals 1060. They already mentioned specifically want you to use matrix method. It means you cannot use the elimination method or the substitution method. You have to use matrix method. How to use matrix method to solve simultaneous equation? You will put bracket, bracket equals bracket. The first bracket, you will put in all the coefficient. It means all the numbers in front. 35, 45, 70, 30. For the second bracket, you will put in the unknown, which is K and L in this case. But the K will duduk atas, the L will duduk bawah. Because K is depan. Yang depan have to write atas. And then yang tengah ni kena tulis bawah. And then here would just be 890, 1060. And now you have to apply matrix inverse to solve this question. So what you do is you will leave the KL here, and this whole matrix will move to the other side. And when you move to the other side, because it's times relation, when you move there, it becomes divide, right? Times jadi divide. Tapi dalam matrix, we don't call it divide, we call it something else. We call it inverse. So it will be 35, 45, 70, 30 punya inverse. So -1 means inverse. And don't forget, you still have to times with the 890, 1060. And now we will do inverse. Do you remember how to do inverse? So if we have a matrix A, B, C, D, the formula to find inverse is 1 over AD minus BC. A and D terbalik, B and C tukar tanda. Okay, so this is the formula to find inverse, right? And there is a name for this. This AD minus BC, there is a name for this. What do we call this? We call this the determinant. And don't forget, the determinant cannot equal 0. Because if this thing equals 0, 1 divide 0 will be math error. If you don't believe me, you can press 1 divide 0 is math error. So that's why this whole thing cannot 0. If it's 0, then the whole thing cannot do it. Okay, okay, let's apply this formula to our working. So it will be 1 over, start to do inverse. It will be AD times A times D minus B times C. So it will be 35 times with 30, right? Like this. And then minus with 70 times 45. Okay. This is the formula. The formula memang macam tu. Okay. A times D minus B times C. And then bracket. The A and D, which is 35, 30, have to tukar tempat. It means terbalikkan. So 30 atas, 35 bawah macam ni. And then this 45, 70, tak payah terbalik. Tapi kena tukar tanda. 45 jadi negatif. 70 pun jadi negatif. And belakang ada lagi 890, 1060. Okay, now we can continue. At KL equals to 1 over, okay, press this whole thing, right? And then you will get your determinant. So what is your determinant? Okay, my calculator give me negative 2100. So that is your determinant, right? And what if one day your determinant you get 0? It means your inverse does not exist. Because if your determinant 0 means you can't solve it, right? So yeah. Okay, but this one is not 0 lah. So obviously you can solve it. And then what happens here is these two matrix, they can darab, they can multiply together. And when you multiply them together, they will join become one bracket. Okay. So two bracket, dia sudah darab sekali, and then now dia jadi satu bracket. Okay. But how to darab matrix? Okay, first thing first is you have to know how many row, how many column for this matrix. This is 2 row, 2 column, 2 times 2. This is 2 row, 1 column. And if the number here and here same, baru boleh darab. So you can see same lah, so can darab. So whatever left at depan and belakang, that would be the answer. So the answer would be 2 row, 1 column. It means satu nombor atas, satu nombor bawah macam ni, right? So 1 atas, 1 bawah like that, right? And how you darab? Do you remember how to darab matrix? You have to take horizontal times with vertical. right? So let's say the horizontal got AB, here got CD. How you want to multiply them? Dia mesti A darab C, B darab D. Tak boleh buat A darab C, A darab D. Salah. It has to be like this. A times B, A times C, B times D. Okay? And make sure it's horizontal times vertical. So where is the horizontal? This one, horizontal. And this is the vertical. And when I darab this, I will write atas here. Okay? So siapa darab siapa? 30 times with 890. And then negative 45 can only times with 1060. So remember this. This is the correct way to multiply matrix. Okay, let me write nicely. 1060 and then close bracket. Okay. Okay. After that, I will repeat the same thing, but this time I will take yang bawah punya horizontal and then times vertical also. So siapa darab siapa? Negative 70 times with 890 and then 35 times with 1060. Okay, if there's nothing in between means plus. Okay, yang atas tadi sudah ada minus, so that's why I never write anything there. Okay, okay, now it will be 1 over negative 2100, and then I'll just press calculator for, just press calculator lah. 30 times 890 minus 45 times 1060. Negative 21000. Yang ini pula, press the whole thing inside your calculator. Okay, my calculator give me, oops, silap tekan, 890 plus 35. Okay, my calculator give me negative 25200. Okay, and don't forget here you have to write KL. And now you can find your KL. You have to take these two numbers times with 1 over negative 2100. Okay, what does it mean by times 1 over negative 2100? It means you are taking these two numbers, divide negative 2100. What is negative 21000 divide negative 2100? Positive 10. What is negative 25200 divide negative 2100? Positive 12. Right? So you can use your calculator to help you. And now you get your answer already. Now you can write your K and L. Please don't stop your answer here because your K and L is actually the package price. So we have to write K equals RM10 and then L equals to RM12. Okay, so then only you get full mark. All right. Okay, hope you understand. Let's continue. Okay, the B question says Encik Emir needs to select at most 20. Whenever you see the word at most, it means it's smaller sama dengan. At most means lebih-lebihnya. It means maximum 20. Tak boleh lebih 20. So at most. So it has to kurang ataupun sama dengan 20. Okay. Okay, needs to select at most 20 for every day for the lucky draw. While the number of female customer must be at least bigger sama dengan. Because at least means minimum. So dia kena more than or sama dengan twice the number of male customer. And then number one, using X to represent number of female. Oh, so X is actually X represent female, and then Y represent male. Write two linear inequalities other than X bigger 0, Y bigger 0 that represent the condition for selecting winner by lucky draw. So we can write our first inequality. At most 20 customer every day, but they never say male or female. It means the total lah. It means X plus Y and then at most 20, so smaller something than 20. It means the total customer cannot more than 20. So it has to be less than or equal 20. And then the next one is the number of female must be at least twice the number of male. Okay, number of female, they already said use X to represent that. And then must be at least means bigger sama dengan twice the number of male, so 2y, right? So this is your second inequality. I think you get 2 marks for this, right? Now for my second question, draw and shade the region that satisfy the system of linear inequality in the answer space in 16b2. Okay, let's go to the answer space. Where's the answer space? Let's go. Oh, it's here. Okay, so I think I have to draw the inequality here. But let's write down the inequality first. X plus y smaller sama dengan 20. Okay, and then the other one is X. What is it? X plus y smaller sama dengan 20. X bigger sama dengan 2y. Right? Okay, the first thing first is you need to understand something. This we call it inequality. And inequality dia adalah kawasan. Dia cakap pasal kawasan. So we have to change to garisan. So how do we do that? Is change this symbol to equal. So it will be X plus Y equals 20 and then X equals 2Y. And we try to cari points, okay? Cari coordinate because we have to plot the points here later and draw the line, okay? And usually I always tell student you can find any point you want. You can substitute any value you want. But the best choice is you substitute x0, y0 because all these points are easy to plot, right? Tapi tak semestinya x0, y0. You can use any point you want, okay? Okay, if x0, y is 20, right? And if I substitute y0, my x will be 20, right? So I can plot my first line, 0, 20, 20, 0, right? But they never tell me any scale, right? So I guess I can decide myself lah for the scale. Okay, let's find for the other point first. When x equals 0, what happens? My y will be 0 divided 2, which is 0. But if I ganti y0, I will end up with x0 also. So I need to change another point. So what point I can choose? Well, I can choose y equals to 10 maybe. Because if I use y equals to 10, 10 times 2, I get 20 for my x. And this 20, 10, I can plot later in this space, and then I can draw the line. Okay, now it's time to choose a suitable scale. Okay, can I go like that? 10, 20? Not very good lah, because there's so many space here. If you draw like that, you are only using like this space, but there's so many empty space here, right? So let's choose a suitable scale. Why not I make it 5, right? Because if I make it 5, then it's much more better, right? So 5, 10, 15, 20 like that. Okay, and then this is my x-axis, and then here will be dua kotak 5, 10, 15, 20. Like that my graph will look better. Okay, let's draw the axis. So like this. Okay, and then another x-axis like this, right? Okay, I will try to use a thicker line. Okay, let's go. The first point is 0, 20, and this one is 20, 0. So when you join them, it's going to end up looking like this. And don't forget to write the equation x plus y equals 20. Next one is 0, 0, 20, 10. So 20, 10 is here. And same thing, use a ruler, join them. Okay, sometimes we have to use dotted line. Okay, when will we use dotted line? When the inequality doesn't have the line bawah here, then we have to use dotted line. But since this one, both the inequality has the line bawah, it means they are both solid line. So this is how solid line, all right? Okay, I forget to label this. Okay, don't forget to shade, right? I believe the question will ask you to shade also. Draw and shade the region. Can you see? So you sudah draw, you kena shade juga. So how to shade? You have to look at your inequality lah. So this will tell you where you have to shade, right? Because the inequality will tell you the kawasan. Okay. Okay. X plus Y smaller sama dengan 20. It means I have to lorek bawah garisan because this one is smaller, right? And one more thing is you have to make sure you have to tengok dari Y. You have to make sure your Y is positive, and then baru tengok dari Y. So your Y is positive, tengok dari Y, this is smaller. Okay, so I have to go to this line. Which line? The X plus Y 20 line, which is this line. And I have to lorek bawah or lorek atas. Smaller, smaller, smaller. So lorek bawah. So my shaded region could be here, it could be here. It cannot be here. It cannot be at the negative one because X and Y represents number of customer. So you will not get negative one. Bilangan orang tak ada negative. So it's either this triangle or this triangle. Okay. Okay, let's look at the next inequality. Adakah you punya Y positive? Yes. Okay, but it's on the other side, right? It's not. Dia bukan dekat depan, dia dekat belakang. So I have to tengok dari sini. So when you tengok dari sini, it's not bigger. It becomes smaller already. Do you understand? Because you have to make sure. Okay, if X is bigger sama dengan 2Y, you have to tengok from Y. It means the 2Y and X you have to terbalikkan like that, right? But when you terbalikkan, this symbol will end up terbalik also. So look at this symbol. The arrow is pointing at the 2Y. So if you terbalik also, you were pointing like that. It means this is actually smaller. It's not bigger. I know it looks like it's bigger, right? But you have to tengok from Y. Tengok dari Y positive. That's why it is smaller. So I hope you understand. Okay, which line smaller? This line, right? So tell me, where should I shade? Is it atas garisan or bawah garisan? Bawah garisan because smaller. So definitely it's not this one. This is the shaded region. So I will shade here, right? And one more thing you have to take note here. When you shade, you cannot shade until down here. Cannot. Because everything is positive. Okay? And let me explain using another way. Tengok sini. Dia ada bagi tahu tak? Other than X bigger 0, Y bigger 0. It means what? It means there's two more inequalities. There's two more inequalities, which is X bigger 0, Y bigger 0 means everything is positive. Everything is here. That is why you cannot shade below X-axis. Okay? because everything is positive, right? And also you cannot shade left side of the y-axis, right? So this is the only triangle that you shade. Okay, so sudah siap. This is the answer. So I think you get full mark already lah. I label everything already. So how many marks? 4 plus 2, 6 marks. Yeah. Okay, let's do C. Let's read the question first. At the beginning of year 2019, Encik Emir obtained profit from his business. Okay, so profit. He invested his profit in two types of investment, Mega Holding and Kencana Maju. Okay, two types of investment. He sold all his shares at the beginning of the year 2020 and obtained 21400 and 23200 for Mega Holding and Kencana Maju investment respectively. So this is the selling price. Okay, the selling price. Table 1 shows the information for both investment. Okay, let's put SP here. Okay, to remind myself, this is the selling price. Okay, SP stands for selling price. And then now we see here, the buying price for 1 unit is 2 ringgit 40 cent. Number of shares purchased is 8,000. Dividend is 150. Bonus is 3.5%, and so on. And then for Kencana Maju is different. Okay, which investment is more profitable in return of investment? Justify your answer. Okay, this is important. Return of investment. What do you call this? We call it ROI. Okay, so they are asking which investment is more profitable. So what we do is we calculate ROI for both companies lah. Right? So I will write down mega holding. Okay. So mega holding, and then I'll calculate the ROI, and then I will go Kencana Maju, and then I calculate the ROI, and let's see which one is higher lah, right? And after I calculate, then I can compare, then I can know which one is more profitable. Okay, you need to know the ROI formula or else you can't do this question. Okay, I'm not sure whether this formula got given in exam or not. Later I will check, but the formula for ROI is you will take the total return, okay, total return. The other word for return is profit. Return means profit, okay? Divide with the, what do you call it? The investment, the initial investment, okay? Initial investment times 100. And your ROI answer will always be in percentage. Okay, so let's repeat one more time. What is the formula? Total return, which is in other words the total profit, divided by initial investment. What is initial investment? The amount you spend to buy. Okay, initial investment means the amount you spend to buy something. Okay, and then times with 100. Okay, I'm really curious whether this formula got given in exam or not. I'm also not sure. Okay, is it given? Okay, they give you required insurance punya formula. This one bagi. Okay, they never give, huh? Yeah, so you have to memorize lah if they never give means. Okay. So make sure you memorize the ROI formula now. Okay, let's cakap sekali lagi. What's the formula? Total return divide initial investment times 100. And what is ROI stands for? Return of investment ataupun return on investment. It's the same thing. Okay. Okay, let's calculate the total return for Mega Holding. What is the total profit for Mega Holding? Of course, you have to take the selling price minus the buying price, right? Because when you buy something and then you sell it, you will not earn 21400. You have to take the selling price minus the buying price, then only you get the profit. So there's another formula here that is, it's very obvious, but sometimes students don't know, right? So it's to take the selling price minus the buying price. Okay, that's how you get profit. Okay, so 21400, that is the selling price for Mega Holding, but you have to minus with the buying price, and he spent some money buying it, which is 2 ringgit 40 cent, but he buy 8,000 unit, right? So 2.4 minus bracket 2.40 times 8,000. Okay, it means 2.40 times 8,000 is the money he spent buying lah. Buying. Then what about the bonus? I have to plus also lah. Okay, so is there any way that I can make this smaller? Okay, why not I erase this one first? Okay, so this is okay. After you take the selling price, you get a profit, but there's still other lagi profit. What other profit you have? The dividend, which is 150 every 6 months. So what I have to do? Okay, let's see. He sold all his shares at the beginning and obtained format table one shows the information he invested in 2 times at the beginning of 2019. So I think he sold all his shares at the beginning of year. Okay, it means after 1 year, right? At the beginning of year 2019, he buy the shares, he invested. But then in the beginning of 2020, he obtained the selling price. It means 1 year, 1 year he sell. It means if the dividend is 150 every 6 months, it means definitely you will get 150 times two. And you need to know that this is also considered a type of return. Yeah, because it's like you earn something. Okay, it's like considered return. That's why I plus lah. Okay, so what other return you have? Bonus 3.5% per annum. This one is also a type of return. So how to calculate? 3.5%, which is 3.5 over 100. But you can also write it like this, 0.035. Okay, because if you press 3.5 divided by 100 is 0.035. But you will times with what? Times with this value. Okay, times with the buying price. So I need to calculate this one first lah. Okay. Okay, so bonus is always the percentage times with the buying price. Okay, what is 2.4 times 8,000 first of all? Okay, I get 19200, right? So this is 19200. So this one, to calculate bonus, you have to take 3.5% from the 19200. That's how you calculate bonus. Okay, so after you press all this, you will get your total return. Let's press 21400 minus 2.4 times 8,000 plus 300 plus 0.035 times 192. Okay, my calculator give me 3172, and this is not the answer. This is just the total return ataupun the total profit earned by him from Mega Holding. Now we can find our ROI. The ROI formula is total return. So I calculate already 3172. This is the total profit earned lah. Divide with the initial investment. How much he invests? Okay, initial investment means the amount he spent buying. Okay, so the amount he spent buying is just 19200. Okay, because he buy 8,000 shares and the buying price is this one. So this one times this one, which is 19200. And don't forget to times 100. And then you press calculator, you will get the ROI in percentage. Okay, so let's press. Okay, my calculator give me 16.52. And don't forget to write percent. Okay, because when you times 100, it means your answer will automatically be in percentage. Okay, okay, let's make this smaller because I need space to buat untuk the other company, which is Kencana Maju. Okay. Oops, what happened? Okay, let's go. Kencana Maju. So let's write down here. Kencana Maju. So let's find out the return first. So the total return is what? Okay, let's find out the buying price first. 2.60 times 8,000. Let's tekan 2.60 times 8,000. Okay, what is the buying price? So the shares he buy from this company is 20800. So this is the total buying price. But to get total return, to get the profit, you have to take the selling price minus with buying price. So when he initially buy is this, but when he sell for 23200 for Kencana Maju. So the profit, he got earn some profit. So it will be 23200 minus with 20800. Okay, to get the profit. But that's not the only profit he earned. He also earned a dividend of 250, so plus that. Okay. And then plus with bonus 3.8%. Okay, 3.8% is 0.038. Okay. Because 3.8% means 3.8 divided 100. And then times with the buying price 20800. Okay. Okay. Let me okay. Okay, okay, so this one let me write again. This is 0.038 times 20800. So this is how we calculate bonus. Okay, let's press calculator. 23200 minus 2080 plus 250 plus 0.038 times 2. Okay, my calculator give me 3440.4. But of course, this is just the return. Okay, this is just the return. To get the ROI, which is return on investment, you have to use this formula. Total return, which is ataupun total profit. This we call it profit also. Divide with initial investment means the amount that you spend buying it initially, which is 20800 times 100. Then we can know he untung how many percent. So he undang how many percent? You press calculator lah. So let's press. Okay, times 100. Okay, I get the answer already, 16.54. So you just write it there. And don't forget to write percent, of course. So now we can answer which investment is more profitable in return of investment. So which kind of investment? Kencana maju. Okay. So Kencana maju. Wait. Let's how did I say it just now? He invested in two types of investment, right? So his investment in Kencana Maju is more profitable. Yeah, we can write like that. Investment. Yeah. Okay, so let's change the way I write this. So we can say investment in Kencana Maju. Kencana Maju is more profitable. Is more profitable. Justify your answer. So because what? Because the ROI, okay, the ROI means return on investment. So because the return of investment for Kencana Maju is higher. Okay, is higher. Because if you look at the percentage, this is 16.54. This is 16.52. So obviously Kencana Maju higher lah. So that is more profitable. Okay, 4 marks. Let's go. Okay, I think this is the last question in section C. Number 17. Let's go. Alex Tan is a degree holder from Putra University of Malaysia, UPM. Has a high interest in agriculture like his father. Okay, these are all just distraction. It's not important. After attending a young agropreneurs program, Alex Tan wanted to expand his career by planning to buy a modern tractor with a very reasonable price. So far, nothing important. Diagram 10 shows the price of two tractor. Okay, these are all nothing important. Okay, I didn't see anything important here, so I can skip everything. Okay, so two tractor A, tractor B, that's the price. Express number 1, RM 101266 base 9 to a number in base 10. Okay, how can I convert a base 9 number to base 10? Okay, remember, if you're changing a smaller base to base 10, you will use the times method. But if you are changing from base 10 to a smaller base, then you use the divide method where you write the remainder beside. Okay, this one you have to guna cara darab, but before that, you have to write down the place value for all the digits. If it's base 9, the place value will be 9 power 0, 9 power 1, 9 power 2, 9 power 3, 9 power 4, 9 power 5. Usually, student common mistake is they forget the power 0. They will straight away start with 9 power 1. Be careful. Always start with 9 power 0, and always the paling belakang one is always power 0, the place value. Okay, so now we will press calculator. It will be 1 times 9 power 5. Okay, let's write nicely. 1 times 9 power 5 plus with 0 times 9 power 4, which is 0, so I will not write that. And then 1 times 9 power 3, and then plus with 2 times 9 power 2, and then plus with 6 times 9 power 1, and then plus with the last one, 6 times 9 power 0. Okay, press this whole thing, and then you will get the number in base 10. Okay, let's press calculator. 1 times 9 power 5, 1 times 9 power 3. Okay, I think you will get 60,000. Yeah, so 60,000. But it's in base 10, right? So I should write 10 here. And let's not forget to write the RM also because it's price. Okay, question number 2. Determine which tractor is cheaper for Alex Tan to purchase. Okay, I already know tractor A, it's 60,000 ringgit. So now I need to know tractor B punya price. This price is in base 7, so I need to convert to base 10 also lah. So let's write down 224,422 base 7. So we will use the same method to convert to base 10, which is the times punya method, darab punya cara. So let's write down the place value. If it's base 7, it will be 7 power 0, 7 power 1, 7 power 2, 7 power 3, 7 power 4, 7 power 5. So the first bracket will be 2 times 7 power 5 plus with next one 2 times 7 power 4 plus with 4 times 7 power 3 plus with 4 times 7 power 2 plus with 2 times 7 power 1, and then the last one is 2 times 7 power 0. Okay, so this is how you calculate the price. Okay, if you press all this, you will get 40,000. Okay, 40,000. Okay, so let's write down 40,000 and then RM base 10. But we never answer the question yet because the question asks you to determine which tractor is cheaper. So we should say which one cheaper, tractor A or tractor B? Tractor B is cheaper. Okay, they never asked me to give a reason, so I will just stop here. Okay, but if you want to write the reason, it's because tractor B costs less than tractor A lah, because 40,000 only ma. Tractor A is 60,000. So yeah, it's very obvious, huh? Which one is cheaper? Okay, now we do B. So let's read. Alex Tan's father presented a piece of agricultural land in Selangor to him. Okay, Alex Tan also has a house that is near to his land. Table 8 shows the details of Alex Tan's land and house. So let's see, land area 10x times 6x meter, which is 60x square meter square. It means this is the area of the land. Okay, because 10 times 6 is 60, x times x is x square. Okay, estimated rent for the land. So the rent, the monthly rent is 1150. And then property assessment tax. So this definitely is a cukai punya question, tax question, right? So property assessment tax is 759. Quit rent rate. Okay, quit rent means the cukai tanah is RM 0.05 per square meter, right? But the land is 60x square meter square, right? And then quit rent is RM 300. So number 1 says calculate value of X. Number 2 says calculate property assessment tax. Okay, there's two tax. There's two different tax happening here. Ada dua jenis cukai. So I will tell you what are the two cukai here. The first cukai is the quit rent. Dalam bahasa Melayu cukai tanah. So I will tell you about cukai tanah punya formula. So do you know what is cukai tanah punya formula? The formula for cukai tanah quit rent is you take the quit rent rate. So the quit rent. Okay, I'm just gonna write the formula beside here lah. So the formula is quit rent rate. Quit rent rate. You take the quit rent rate per unit area. Per unit area times with the total land area. Okay, the total land area. This is how you calculate cukai tanah. Okay, take the quit rent rate per unit area times with the total land area. And usually they will give you this in the soalan. Right. Next thing I want to talk about is the property assessment tax. Ataupun dalam bahasa Melayu, cukai pintu. Okay, property assessment tax. Okay, so the property assessment tax is cukai pintu, but I want to mention this is for 1 year. 1 year. So in bahasa Melayu is cukai pintu. Cukai pintu punya formula is you will take the property assessment tax rate. I'll just write short form lah. Property assessment tax rate times with the annual value. Okay. So annual value means nilai tahunan untuk 1 tahun. That is why the cukai pintu will come up for 1 year also. Okay. But there is a few things that that student always never study, which is this thing, annual value. Actually, you need to you need to know annual value actually come from where? It comes from monthly rent times 12. Okay, monthly rent darab dengan 12. Okay, so sometimes the soalan want to make it harder. They will not give you annual value, but they will give you monthly rent instead. So what you have to do is you take the monthly rent times 12 to get the annual value, then only you multiply with the rate. Okay, okay, after we understand this, now we can do number 1. Number 1 wants you to find X. So definitely we will be using this information, the land area. So definitely we will not be looking at this formula. We'll be using the quit rent formula. So what is the quit rent formula? Quit rent rate times total land area. So what is the quit rent rate and what is the total land area? Quit rent rate is 0.05, RM 0.05. And then don't forget to times with the total land area, which is 60x square. This is how we calculate quit rent, but they give you actually the quit rent is 300. So this one equals to 300. It means for 1 meter square, you have to pay 5 cents. So if you've got 60x square meter square, then you have to times them together, right? Okay, how to find X? Okay, you take 0.05 times 60 first. Okay, so you will get, let's see, 3x square. So to get the X, I have to pindah the 3. Okay, so it will become X square equals 300 divide 3, which is 100. And then X equals to square root 100, which is 10. And the 10 is actually the answer. Okay, so that's the answer. Okay, you get 2 marks. Now let's do second question. Second question says calculate the property assessment tax rate. So definitely we will be using the other formula. So what's the formula? I already explained just now. This one, right? Property assessment tax for 1 year is equals to the rate times with the annual value. But if they don't give you annual value, you can use this method, monthly rent times 12, right? So do we have the rate and the annual value? Okay, the rate, I need to find actually, right? So the rate I don't have, so I'll just write rates. I don't know, I want to find. Times with the annual value, they never give me, but they got give me the monthly rent, which is 1150. So how can I find the annual value? 1150, which is the monthly rent, times 12, right? And even though I don't have the rate, but I have the 759, which is the property assessment tax. So the 759 I'll write here. So now I can find the rate. I will just press 759. Okay, first of all, I press 1150 times 12 first. And then only I will press 759 divide answer. My calculator give me 0.055. But let me tell you something. The property assessment tax rate is always in percentage. So you should actually convert to percentage. How to convert? 0.055 is actually 5.5%, right? It means if you want to convert decimal to percentage, you have to times 100. So when you times 100, you will get 5.5%. Okay. And if you don't believe me, you can press 5.5 divide 100 and you will seriously get back here 0.055. Okay. Because percentage means divide 100. Okay. Hope you understand. So how many marks in total here? 5 marks for this. Right. Okay. Is there one more question? Yes. All right. Let's do C. Alex Tan has bought a 4-wheels drive with an engine capacity 2494 cc. So it belongs to this one, 2494 cc between here, right? To transport his agriculture yield. Table 9 shows the rate of Rotax in Peninsular Malaysia. Okay, Rotax is very easy to calculate. Okay, it's very easy to calculate, right? Okay, it's not like motor insurance. Like motor insurance, there's a lot of things you have to hafal. You have to hafal Semenanjung, kalau comprehensive for Semenanjung macam mana, kalau comprehensive for Sabah Sarawak macam mana. Yang tu banyak benda kena ingat. But for Rotax it's very easy. Okay, how to calculate Rotax? You just refer to your table. It says that the base rate is 440. So 440 plus with the progressive rate is 80 cent for every cc exceeding 2000. So 2494 already exceed 2000. But exceed how much? You will take 2494 minus 2000 so that you know it exceed how much. And then after you know they exceed how much, times with 80 cent. Because for every cc exceeding 2000, you have to pay 80 cent, right? So what is 2494 minus 2000? It will be 494, right? So the it means that you exceed 2000 cc by 494. So times with 80 cent, right? Now you just press your calculator, then you get the answer. 440 plus 494 plus 0.8 times 0.8. Okay, 835.2. But this one is an RM because it's Rotax, right? And don't forget to write 835. Don't just write 0.2, write 0.20. Okay, RM is always in 2 decimal place. It means 835 ringgit 20 cents. Okay, okay, I think this is the last question. So finally, let's go. Alex Tan plans to have water catchment pond in the shape of regular hexagon. What is regular hexagon? Okay, let's draw a hexagon. Hexagon means got 6 sides, but they say regular. Regular means what? It means sekata. Sekata is means sama panjang, sama panjang, sama panjang, sama panjang, sama panjang, sama panjang, sama panjang. And when all 6 sides sama panjang, same length, it means the interior angle will be same also. And I will tell you straight away, the angle will be 120. Okay, but I don't think I'm not sure whether I need the angle or not, so I will not write it. Okay, how I know it's 120 is because of this formula: n minus 2 times 180 divide n. The n I ganti 6. Okay, if you use this formula, you get 120. But let's see what they want first. With the side of 12 meters, so all of this is 12 meter. Calculate the area of water catchment pond. Give your answer in 3 significant figures. Okay, they want to find area of this pond, means area of hexagon lah. So how can I find area of hexagon? Okay, there is a formula that you can use. Okay, it's 3 square root 3 over 2. The formula is 3 square root 3 over 2a square, where a stands for the side of the hexagon. Okay, but you can only use this formula when it's regular hexagon. Okay, but there's actually another method. Okay, I'll show you another method later. So this is the fast way lah. is by using this formula. 3 square root 3 over 2 a square, and the a is 12, right? So you straight away use calculator and then you get answer. Okay, 144 divide 2 times 3 times square root 3. Okay, my calculator give me 374.12. 374.12. And don't forget this is cm square. But the calculate in meter square, sorry, in meter square. But the question says once in 3 significant figure, right? So 1, 2, 3, and the next digit is less than 5, so 374 meter square, right? And I'll just write here, correct to 3 significant figures. Okay, I will show you another method. All right, another method. Okay, so this formula you can remember also. This is the formula to find area of hexagon, but it can only use this formula when it's regular. If it's not regular, then you can't use it. Okay, and the A stands for the side of hexagon, right? Okay, let me show you another method. If you don't want to do like that, you can also do it another way. You can do it like this. You can cut the hexagon in half. Yeah, because when you cut it in half, you will get 2 trapezium, right? So you can use area of trapezium to do it also. Okay, so I will show you alternative method here. Alternative method. So the alternative method works like this. You use area of trapezium, but there will be a center of hexagon, right? And since this is 12, this must be 12 also. But when you find area of trapezium, you have to take 1 over 2 times A plus B times C. And what is A, what is B, what is C? A and B is the two parallel sides. C is the distance, or you can also call it the height. Okay, height of the trapezium. Okay, so how it means I need the panjang here lah. So can you tell me how can I find it? Okay, very simple. This, imagine if this is 120 degree. Okay, I already mentioned why, right? It's 120 is because of this formula. Okay, because the number of side is 6, right? So if it's 6, it will be 6 minus 2 times 180, and you can divide by 6 because all angles are equal, and you end up with 120. And imagine cutting it half. It means you'll get 60 here, 60 here, right? And what if I cut it like this? I should get 60, 60 also, right? Do you agree? So it means if this is 60, 60, it means this is an equilateral triangle, because one triangle is 180 degree. It means 60, 60 here also 60. It means this tiga line sama panjang. It means this, if this is 12, this is 12, this is 12 also. And guess what? Here will be 12 also, here will be 12 also. It means now you have your two parallel sides. So your area of trapezium will be 1 over 2 times the parallel side, which is 12, plus this parallel side is 24. So it will be 12 plus 24. And don't forget to multiply with the distance between these two parallel sides. But the distance has to be the perpendicular distance, which is yang ada 90 degree. You cannot take the sengit punya jarak. You have to take straight punya jarak. But how to find the straight punya jarak? Okay, you can use trigo. Because when you tarik satu piece, you have to tarik dengan panjang ni, right? But guess what? When you tarik macam ni, it will be 90 degree here. And I want this distance, right? So let's draw out the right angle triangle in case you can't see it. So the right angle triangle looks like this. It's 90 degree. And we already know this is 12. The hypotenuse is 12, right? But this one, I don't know how long. This one, I also don't know how berapa. And I'm trying to find this, by the way. This is the one I want, so that I can ganti into my trapezium area formula. But I have the angle. What is this angle? 60, right? Because when you cut it half, I told you already it's 60, 60. So we can actually use trigo, sokato, right? Okay, which one you will use? So you are trying to find the opposite, and you have the hypotenuse. Okay, so you don't have the adjacent. So the only way is to use sine lah. Okay, because sokato. So say sine 60 equals to opposite over hypotenuse, which is x over 12. So to find x punya panjang, I have to tekan sine 60 times 12. Right? So the answer yang saya dapat is 10.39. But of course, this is not the answer. This is just the perpendicular distance. Because when you find trapezium, after you take 1 over 2 times this one plus this one, you still have to times with the distance, right? And the distance has to be, cannot be this sengit one, it has to be the 90 degree one, right? So the 90 degree punya distance is 10.39, okay? We call this the perpendicular distance, right? So the 10.39, you will put it inside here. And after you calculate this, you will get the area of this. But you have to times 2. You know why? Because you are finding two trapezium of the same size adding together. So 2 and 2 can cut. Now you press this, you will get answer. And believe me, you will get the same answer. Let's try. Times 10.39. Okay, my calculator give me 374.04. And can you see the answer is same? Okay, I know it's a little bit different, but when you round off to 3 significant figure, it will end up the same lah, 374, right? It means you will get full mark also if you do it like that. Okay, so this is another method. that I want to share to you. All right, but of course, if you do it like this, it's way faster lah. Okay, but this method you have to remember the formula, and I don't think they could give you this formula in the exam. Yeah, so this is the special formula to find area of regular hexagon. Okay, okay, I think it's the end already. Yep. So see you next video. Bye bye.